Greetings again from Dubai. It is the middle day of 9 of these 2019 World Para Athletics Championships of this Dubai club for people of determination. And having had one of only 5 days rain they get annually in Dubai yesterday, the sun is out again today. Twenty titles to be decided on this middle day. 6 this morning, 5 in the field, 1 in the track. We start off as usual with lots of field event finals. Women's club throw F51. A couple of women's javelin finals as well. A long jump. There is 1 track final this morning. It's the women's 400 meters T37 featuring Lizelle Gowes, Maureen Jeunesse, Cheryl James, et al. Sun's out, temperature's up. It'll be in the 30s again. Little bit of wind. Anybody who thinks it's 23 Celsius today needs their head examined. So, very good morning from Will Downing. There's the Burj Khalifa cross down. Gorgeous day, catching the sun. And with a huge crew the other night, we all went to see it, including Tulson Solid.
Good morning, Will. Good morning, everyone, wherever you are around the world. Yes, very much looking forward to the morning session on day 5. Men's 100 metres T38. The man you saw ripping his vest off there during the introduction, Evan O'Hanlon, who's retired twice from the sport after Rio in 2016 and also after the Commonwealth Games last year. Now lives in the Czech Republic. He is taking part in the heats of the men's 100 T38 a little later this morning. Wonderful day. Much different to what it was 24 hours ago.
Yeah, lots of early track action here, and we've got the women's javelin being introduced at the moment. Women's club throw already underway. That was a very early start. Sarah Fernandez-Roldan, who we've seen a lot of events, and she features in long jumps as well. She's part of this field, along with Liu Larting of Chinese Taipei. Natalia Eder of Austria has had a very successful career already, looking to add another medal to a massive collection here. Nozimakon, Kaya Makova of Uzbekistan have already won a whole amount of medals here. The reigning world record holder and championship record holder from London, the one they have to beat, the defending champion. And to round off the 9, Bakhta Benalou of Algeria. Also in this, Petrenko of Belarus, Zhao of China, Kulinic, Sorokina of Russia, Valenzuela of Mexico. It's also one of the key athletes in this.
So we wait for the women's javelin throw F13 for the least of the visual impairment categories to get underway. There is the confirmation of the start list.
In that javelin competition, they'll all have 3 throws, after which
Xiao Yuping, the F12 record holder, and the F13 record holder, Nozmikan Kayamova of Uzbekistan. Lizaveta Petrenko of Belarus will be first to go. And get us underway in the coming 60 seconds or so. A few of these field events have been running over. Visual events take a little bit of extra time. 17 years of age, Petrenko, her first major global championships. Track action to come, field action at present. A glorious morning for it.
So different from yesterday morning, there's no doubt about it. There were fears of storms. We did actually have a bit of a thunderstorm, a lot of lightning yesterday lunchtime, but thankfully the morning session had just finished.
And the javelin, F13, will have a slight breeze behind them. Breeze coming from directly behind where the javelin is. been a differing breeze over the past couple of days.
It's time for the women's
But today,
javelin
it's coming
F56 final.
from that northern end of the stadium. Which has been problematic for the long jump athletes, but they've been running into that breeze. So the first is underway. Pietrenka, lifetime best of 27.96.
The lower the number, the more significant the activity limitation.
12 athletes at the circle adjacent to the 200-meter start
She
point.
gets us underway.
Let's meet them in throwing order. Throwing at 1 for the Islamic Republic of Iran.
اللعبة الأولى ممثلة إيران.
Hashamayee Montagian Nawavi.
First effort
Throwing at 2.
for her in major competition, though, will be one she'll wish to forget. We start off with a foul. So Zhao Yuping, the champion from London 2017, setting a championship record that day of 42.72. She holds the world record of 44.96 set in Jakarta last October in 2018. So first attempt for Zhao. Well, there's loads of effort into it, and there's loads of distance as well.
Raisa Rocha Machado. Throwing at 7, representing Bulgaria.
42.72, the championship record. Now we've seen a host of championship and world records broken already in the opening 4 days at these championships. And that's out there over the 40-meter mark as we await the measurement of Zhao's first up throw. 42.47, so not too far off the championship record set 2 years ago.
Martina Villi. Throwing at 11 for the People's
She
Republic
takes the
of
lead.
China. Lin Sitong.
Which, when you're second up
And throwing 12
and you've only had the
for
first
Nepal.
legal throw of the competition, is pretty much a given.
Sets up the day for an absolutely magnificent run of
One at a time in
record-breaking
sequence.
again,
That's
doesn't
the
it?
lineup for the F56 women's javelin throw final.
Kilinich Soreninka of Russia. Lifetime best of 42.66, so she could be pushing up towards Zhao. And that is around the 40-meter mark to get her underway. Russia obviously haven't been involved in international competition for the past few years.
We are underway elsewhere in the field, so the women's javelin throw F13. We've had our first 2 throws. The lead is with Zhao of China, 42.47.
Soreninka.
The throw will be Alvarez of Mexico.
A season best for her of 37.85. Valenzuela Alvarez of Mexico. She gets herself set up. Somewhat further back when it comes to these athletes as far as lifetime best goes, only 36.33 for the Mexican. So Zhao will still lead after this first up effort of 28.40, but it does put Valenzuela Alvarez for the time being into 3rd position.
Well, what a career Sarah Fernandez Roldan has had, and we've already seen her competing this week. She's tremendously versatile. You see her in the track, you see her in the long jump, but she's only recently taken up the javelin. She finished 4th in the Europeans in that last year in Berlin. She's won 2 European bronze medals in her career, 1 in the long jump, 1 in the 100. But she's developed a talent for this. Bronze in the 4x1 in the Worlds in Doha last time we were in the Gulf. .2094 her lifetime best set this year, and she's sort of like Ronald Herzog in reverse. He was just a javelin thrower, solely a javelin thrower at the start of his career, and then branched out. And Fernandez has been a sprinter and a jumper who has developed a bit of taste for the javelin as her career has developed. And that's a no throw, by the way. She didn't like the distance, so stepped over the line, got the red flag.
Nothing like a big build-up.
I'm good for the big build-up that goes wrong.
Our first event on the track is the men's 100 meters T12 semi-finals.
So the first of the
أولى مسابقات المضمار لهذا اليوم 100 متر رجال فئة تي 12 النصف النهائي الأول.
100 meters T12.
Water classes 11 to 13 are allocated to
With 4
athletes
going in
with
this
varying
one.
degrees of visual impairment. T12 athletes have a higher visual acuity than T11 athletes, or have a field of vision with less than 5
major
degrees
global
radius.
championship.
They may choose to compete with a
There's
guide.
one of them, Ika Saputra of Indonesia.
3 heats, the first in each, and the next 2 fastest will go through to
4th in the Asian Para Games in the 100 meters
in lane 1,
just last year.
Indonesia.
Lifetime best set this year of 11.23 seconds. Next to him in lane 3, 20 years of age, a first major championship for the Brazilian, who trains with Patricio Ferreira dos Santos. So I suspect there may be a bit of speed on in this one, as his compatriot has. Jefferson Marino de Oliveira will go from lane 3. Noah Malone of the United States, a high school male athlete of the year from the Paralympic Association in the US, rated in 2018. 18 years of age, 10:59 his lifetime best set this year.
In lane 7, representing Greece,
And Anatolios
Athanasios Havelis.
Gavalis of Greece, European Championship silver medalist last year over 200 metres. He was 10th in this event in 2017. So the winner will qualify. The next 2 fastest in the 3 heats will advance to the final. Championship record set back in 2017 by Lenia Savon-Pineda, 10:72. He's not running in this event here at these championships. The world record was set earlier this year by Kashafli of Norway, who goes in heat 2. So Saputra in 1, Marina de Oliveira in 3, Malone in 5. Gavelis of Greece will go from lane 7. First of 3 semi-finals. But the hand's gone up from Gavelis out wide, so he's not happy with his position. Better to raise your hand and make sure everything's correct than get yourself firstly into a poor position, but secondly, get yourself disqualified. That wouldn't be very good at all in this T12 medium visual impairment category. Runners can choose to run with a guide, should they so wish, or they can run individually, as is happening with all 4 in this one. In heat 3 there will be a guide. Marcel Botiga will run with one in that. Elsewhere across this field of 12 who are going in the 3 heats, they're all running without a guide. So take 2. This time they get away with no issues at all, and Gavelis gets away well, as does Malone on the inside, but further in, Marino de Oliveira looks like he's going to take it. Noah Malone is going to push him towards the line, but Marino de Oliveira who takes it from Malone in second, and out wide it's Gavelis, who looks like he's going to cross in third place, but there's no doubting the winner. That man there from Brazil, who trains with Patricio Ferreira dos Santos, Jefferson Marino de Oliveira, 20 years of age, is through in a lifetime best of 10.74 in the opening semi-final of 3, which sounds a little bit weird, saying 3 semi-finals, but there are 3 taking place for the purposes of this event. So a lifetime best for the Brazilian, Malone taking second, so he'll be waiting on now. The next 2 fastest will advance from the 3 heats, but he got away very quickly, did Malone, as did Gavelis on the outside, but
from a variety of angles.
In lane 3, at 20 years of age, pushing out of the blocks there, Jefferson Marino de Oliveira with some wonderful pace over that middle 40 metres or so. Malone in second, Gavelis, the 200 metres European champion, in third, and Saputra at his first major global championship comes in 4th place.
F51 final, we've got 6 athletes throwing. The first set of complete throws.
Done easily, done simply, through to the final. The first one to make it into it. So lifetime best, 10.74 for Marino de Oliveira. He automatically goes through. The rest will have to hang and hope.
Those are the results, or those are the standings in the club throw.
Yeah, second place for Noah Malone there, and actually just thinking of his namesake Lee Malone, the great New Zealand champion from Rio and in London. He's retired from para-athletics at quite a young age, but he was doing a stand-up show at the Edinburgh Festival about his life and career, which is an interesting departure, I gotta say.
When's yours?
Women's javelin throw, F13.
My life is a constant stand-up show.
I agree. Each day. Normally when I message you in the morning to find out where you are.
Sorokina of Russia in second, and Ada of Austria currently third.
Not the only inappropriate interruption, but hey.
I was in Japan recently for the Rugby World Cup, and those bandanas were extremely popular, with the Japanese doing so well.
Middle semi-final. Commonwealth Games champion goes in this, and there he is. And Adomzi and Tutu, the man from Cape Town. 4 going in this. No change, by the way, at the top of the women's javelin standings. We have a no-show in this, by the way. Kesley Teodoro, who was 4th in this in the Paralympic Games. It's a major loss. He was entered, so there's either been a pre-race injury on the training ground or elsewhere, or as occasionally happens, it's too late out at the call room. We've had a few big names who've suffered that. Anyway, Ayoub Hamoud is here, first major championship from Morocco, 11.30. Lifetime best set this year.
Ayoub Hamoud.
Salam Keshafli, likewise, first major championship, but he won his first round heat brilliantly for Norway. Lives in Bergen. Brilliant place. Originally from the Democratic Republic of Congo, the DRC, or DC. He's Norwegian now, has lived there for a good few years. There's no Kesley Teodoro in 5. And the Commonwealth Games champion for South Africa is in lane 7. Silver in Rio in the Paralympic Games, bronze at London 2012. and he won silver in the World Championships last time out. And Demosi Ntutu, a big candidate for gold here. He has medalled in the last 5 World Championships dating back to 2006. Salam Keshafli is the world record holder, set in Oslo in June. What an athletic city that is, an athletics nation in its own right. Hamuda in 1, a welcome debutante, but Keshafli has really broken onto the scene, and 10:44 on the national scene. In general club athletics and satellite meetings such as the likes of Geneva, Gothenburg Grand Prix is really strong. .10:44 is his lifetime best, 10:45 the world record. Obviously not in a World Para Athletics organized event as PB came in. So Almeida in 1, Keshafli 3 and 2:27, only the winner qualifying for the final, plus the next 2 fastest losers. So away we go, the first time of asking in this T12. And Tutu off to a good start, but Keshafli is looking really impressive. He looks the real deal. 10:49 is a new championship record, and that's an unofficial time. Magnificent. What a start. It's only 9:15 in the morning. 10:49.
What championship we're here?
Championship record. And as my now football commentary colleague Clive Tilsley always says, he's a member of the Wideaway Club. In Tutu in second spot, and that's a time that may well be good enough for the final for a Tutu, but Keshafli, my word, championship record. It's just outside his own world record, and that's a warning sign to absolutely everybody. This man wants to be the world's fastest Paralympian. He's not far off it. My word. What a start by Keshafli. And Tutu normally would be the big headline because that was a storming performance by him. But just look at Keshafli go. He turns 26 in a couple of weeks. He's heading into the prime of his career. As we know, sprinters can go into the late 30s these days. This man has a massive career ahead of him. That massive career might just have started. He's won his heat, he's won his semi-final, he's into the final with one of the fastest times we've ever seen in para sport in the 100 meters. This guy is good. Salam Agaisi Keshafli. Oh, it's not a championship record. Look at the wind speed, plus 3.8. 10.49 is impressive. And Tutu in second, 10.85. Hamuda in third, but unfortunately not a championship record anymore.
In these 100-meter races, the winner,
but the time is incredible. That championship record will be his.
Best lanes, the centre lanes in the final. So in a way, it's everybody.
Pity about the wind speed. Explains a bit though about the time.
Well, yeah, plus 3.8 is quite a wind coming down the track. That's probably the strongest I think we've had over the last 4 and a bit days. Nothing to speak of over the first few days. Then it was a headwind, then it was a slight tailwind, but plus 3.8 is stronger than we've had so far.
And remember, the long jumps run into that wind, so basically from the takeoff you get blown backwards with a wind speed like that almost. It is quite blowy. It is an open stadium. It's open at either end. We've got the main stand to the side and a few smaller stands over on the far flank. It's early morning. It's Monday morning here. We will get decent crowds tonight. The main stand here has been generally mostly full every evening. And that's actually really good. I know we crowds of 40,000 in London. 2 years ago. That's a shot that sort of reminds you of London a bit, the Wimbledon shot when they shoot across the city to Canary Wharf. But as it is, there are lots of parts of the world where para sport is still growing, and you go somewhere for a big event and you don't get the crowds you would do elsewhere in the world. The crowds here are much advanced than what we saw in Doha 4 years ago, and it's very welcome, and much, much advanced on, let's say, Swansea in the European Championships in 2014.
Well, you mentioned there about that shot looking across London. It's probably a little bit warmer than London, especially at the moment. Can never be too hot, can always be too cold in my book. Talking of hot, here we go. The third of the men's 100 metres T12 semi-finals. As the wind blows up again. Still measuring plus 3.8. Four to go in this. Marcel Budiger will go with his guide, Alexander Kozenkov. T12, medium visual impairment. Guide, not compulsory, optional. So Kashafli thought he'd broken the championship record, but the wind had other things to say. Pham of Vietnam will go from lane 1, a 22-year-old who was silver and bronze medalist in the 400 and 200 respectively at the Asia Para Games. This a shorter distance, and his lifetime best of 11:21 set this year, which is doesn't look like a lot off the other athletes who are running, but in the scheme of things in a 100-meter race, half a second can make quite a big difference. Roman Tarasov won golds in the 1 and the 200 at the 2017 Russian Championships, his first major global championships for the 26-year-old, who celebrates his birthday just before Christmas. International debut in 2016 for this man, who was fourth in this event in London 2 years ago. Barros Ferreira of Brazil. Of course, his compatriot Marina de Oliveira winning the opening semi-final, and then the man who was 8th in the long jump already at these championships, encouraged by his school teachers to take up the sport. Marcel Budiger of Germany, a physiotherapist. So 10:85, the cutoff point for the fastest loser to go through. Just the first automatically qualifying from this third semi-final. Or heat, if you want to call it that. Semi-final, three of them sounds a little bit weird in my books, but that is athletics or para-athletics. Russia, as always, when they go to a major championship, expectations are high, and Tarasov will have expectations on him. Both he and Barros Ferreira have both set their lifetime best this year, and they've both been exactly the same at 10.77 seconds. And with a tailwind behind them, they may well go faster than that. It may not count as far as records go, but if they're first across the line and into the final, they won't mind one bit whatsoever. It is blustery, the breeze is strong, and they are away with no problems at all, and Tarasov gets away quickly indeed, but coming on the outside, it is Barros Ferreira who's trying to get to him. Barros Ferreira, can he get him on the line? Tarasov, Barros Ferreira. Well, I think Tarasov may have just got it on the inside in 10.90 seconds, unofficial for that one, but he looked like he might have just held on as they went across the line. It was close. There was millimetres in it. Barros Ferreira was flying home at the end there. Well, Barros Ferreira has just nicked it. 10.90. There must be absolutely nothing in it. Surely a photo as they went across the line, because there was nothing. They've both been given exactly the same time, so they've both come home in 10.90 seconds in a dead heat.
So let's see on the summary who will be joining in the final.
Well, there was nothing in that whatsoever. Tarasov looked like he had it. Barros Ferreira.
De Oliveira, Barros Ferreira.
That makes sense, doesn't it? Seeing they both set lifetime best this year of 10.77, they both got exactly the same, and guess what? They go across the line in 10.90 and keep themselves exactly the same.
And it's costly for Tarasov not winning, because Ntutu will go through as the only fastest loser and not the Russian.
Yeah, 10.89 was the cutoff, so he's missed it by 1/100th of a second.
Just looking to see who our second non-automatic qualifier is.
And that must be absolutely painful, because he's got him right on the line. Right on the line, exactly the same, going across in equal first in your semi-final, but you're going to miss out by 1/100th of a second.
Separated by thousandths of a second.
So we're into the thousandths of a second for Tarasov missing out. Plus 1.1. You look at those flags in the background, they are blowing, but remarkably it was only plus 1.1 there when it was over 3 for the last semi-final for Kashaf Ali. Go figure. So there we go, confirmation that Tarasov has missed out by a thousandth of a second. Barros Ferreira, Ntutu, De Oliveira and Kashaf Ali into the final.
He's in the final. And I think that 10.90 for Tarasov is not going to get him into the final. I think it will be Noah Malone of the USA, but it is not showing a lowercase q against him on the results summary.
We return to the women's javelin F13 and back to Benalou of Algeria. This is the final throw of round 2. Zhao Yuping still leads, 42-47. We saw that throw earlier. A massive throw, so close to her own championship record that earned her gold in London 2 years ago. She was only about 25 centimeters off that. The no throw for the Chinese in round 1. Kayamova of Uzbekistan's in second place. Benalou with that 30-42 has her in 6th position. 30-61 her lifetime best, which she's broken. 30-78, she stays in 6th spot. Best throw of her life. She needs a further 2 meters on that to move a little closer to the medals. F13 is least visual impairment. There's quite a few F12s in this as well. In the mix, that is medium visual impairment. But despite those terms, obviously on a day-to-day basis, it's a lot of visual impairment. We always advise you to go towards Paralympic.org if you wish to read up on just what all of the different categories mean. And also there is a spoken version too, for those of you who are visually impaired. Petrenka of Belarus, she's had a lifetime best already in that second round of 32.54. Well, it's an awkward trajectory, and that might have gone bottom tip first, in which case it'll be given as a no throw. She might have just gotten away with it. Well, she hasn't. That's already been red flagged, and she lost her glasses too, so that doesn't help. But it was a lifetime best in round 2, so there's nothing to be too down on herself about, and she's actually safe in getting 3 more throws. She needs 5.3 extra meters on that lifetime best to get into the medals, but she's doing well in 5th right now. It's Zhao Yuping, defending champion, who is in great stead right now. She leads with that 42-47, And is she in the mood for more? When she won gold at the Asian Para Games in Jakarta last year, she threw her world record of 44.96. So where's this one going? That's long. That's very long. That's the 40-meter mark in the background. Obviously, there's the curved line, which actually hasn't been marked out in the stadium this time. That is around 40 meters. Is it better than the championship record that she threw in the opening round? It's a brilliant throw, there's no doubt about it, by Zhao Yuping. She is the one they all have to beat, and she's made the task harder for everyone. Championship record, 42.77. She's done it again, and she leads by a long way. Anna Kulinich-Sorokina for Russia. Season's best in the opening round of 37.85.
In the club throw, Elena Gorlova of Russia will be the next out. She's her warm-up.
Put a lot into that as well.
Of India is the leader, the first
landed around 40.
16.04, her best.
Again, it landed somewhat flat, but this time I think it was front tip up, so she'll be okay. Again, she'd have done well to go away with it, but she hasn't. Wasn't front tip, so that is a red flag also.
So in the F56,
next to go, Rebecca Valenzuela, who's lying in 7th place. 29.57 is her lifetime best.
The leader, Motagian Moavi, with an Asian record of 22.67, and we've had an African record for the Algerian Nadia Mejmej.
The Pan Am Games champion in Lima a few weeks ago.
She's in 2nd place. Obrova of Czech Republic follows that.
Also took gold in the shot put. It's heading out towards 30. 29.57 around one, and that's red flags. Well, when the wind picks up, it obviously is a part to play in this event too. Sarah Fernandez-Roldan, who a lot of the time wants a lot of wind behind her in the long jump.
Sarah Fernandez-Roldan of Spain, waiting for her 3rd round throw at the moment. She's the unlucky athlete who would miss the cut. Let's see what she can do.
Well, she's 4.5 meters down in 8th place, and she needs this to go to 25. Otherwise, it's elimination, and it's elimination. Had to go well beyond 20. She knows her fate now. It's an interesting departure, if you like. We're going to the javelin, having been noted as a sprinter and a long jumper. That won't improve. 20.62.
Just reflecting on
and
those
her
100
competition
meter races, Tarasov
comes
of Russia,
to an end.
who only lost the 3rd and final heat by thousandths of a second, may have missed out on going through to the final by 1/100th of a second, as the 2 non-automatic qualifiers were just ahead of
So
him.
Liu comes now.
So almost a very successful outing for him, and very, very close, but missing out on the final.
As we go deep into round 3. Liu survives, she's an 8th.
Liu Yating of
25.28, she'd have been displaced at Sarah Fernandez-Roldan. Produced a much better throw in that final round.
There are 3 throws remaining in round 3, after which the leading 8 will get the 3 further throws.
She won't improve her standing because there was such a massive leap, around 4.5 meters extra needed to go up to 7, but it's still her best throw of the day, 27.06 for Liu in 8.
Natalia Ider of Austria. Season best of 37.65 already thrown. And that's out there towards the 40-meter mark as well. So Adair has improved already on her season best, a lifetime best of 40.49. 36.40 though. She hasn't improved on her second. She remains in 4th position.
So we're approaching halfway in this javelin.
And it's Zhao who leads from China, 42.77. Kayamova of Uzbekistan in second. And Kulinich Sorokina of Russia, 20 centimetres ahead of Adair in the bronze medal position. That just shows you the breeze there in the palm trees. Just need a drink in your hand and the beach as well. That'd be nice.
So it's the men's 1500 meters T54. There are many blue ribbon events in para-athletics. I think this is one of them. So many great races, so much great competition, and it is so open. 9 going in this, including the 200 and the 400 world champion Asim Garbi, the Commonwealth Games champion Alex DuPont of Canada, Jake Lappin of Australia, the Commonwealth Games bronze medalist, and the 800 meters bronze medalist here this week, Zhang Yong of China. So many massive names across these 3 heats. It's the first 3 who will go through out of this set. So in this semi-final, Alex DuPont of Canada, the reigning champion from Gold Coast last year in the Commonwealth Games, who was 5th in the marathon in terms of the world's Paralympic 4x4 bronze, and a world gold in 2013 in the same event in Lyon. Pan Am champion in the 4, the 8 and the 15 in Toronto. 4 years ago, Waifalana took silver and bronze. Alongside for Thailand, silver in the 15, bronze in the 4 and the 8 in last year's Asian Games in Jakarta puts her at Gongrak. Alongside him, the 800 meters bronze medalist from this week in Dubai in the Asian Games 400 and 800 champion, Zhang Yong for China. Inside him from Tunisia, the reigning world champion over 200 and 400 and bronze in the Paralympic Games in Rio. Reigning world 2 and 400 champion Asim Garbi. So inside him for the United States, 4th in the 4x4 in the 2011 World Championships, Aaron Pike. The man who's also the reigning bronze medalist in the biathlon sprint World Championships. Ludwig Malta alongside him, 6th in the 800 meters final in the Europeans last year. Jake Lappin for Australia, bronze in the 1500 last year in Gold Coast. There's Alejandro Maldonado of Argentina, 4th in the 1500 in Beijing 08. And on the ultimate inside, 7th in the 800 meters final here, and silver in the universal relay in the Asian Games a year ago, Tomoki Suzuki. 9 in it, the top 3 to qualify for the final. Alex Dupont, bronze in the Commonwealth Games in 2014 in Glasgow, but how he upgraded that in Gold Coast. Runs a wheelchair racing equipment company, along with wife Alana. First heat of 3. And away they roll. 1500 meters T54 has given us such thrills in recent major championships. The championship record holder is Marcel Hoog, the reigning European and world champion, who we will see in the last of these 3 first round heats. Well, they're effectively semi-finals as you go through. A bit of early move from the Chinese Zhang to shoot up into second spots, and also up there Suzuki of Japan. They're the top 2 or 3 to go.
And Pike is in 3rd position at the moment, the man from Champaign, Illinois, but it is Suzuki in 2nd, who's the field are catching up with at the moment, and out there in front, Zhang Zhong, 400 and 800 gold medalist at the Asian Para Games, went out to a quick enough pace, but he's pulled up now, and Suzuki's going to go through on his inside wheel and take the lead with 200 metres remaining as they'll come round for 2 laps left. There'll be 800 metres left to go. The first 3 going through, so they're all back into one big bunch at the moment. There's no danger of anyone dropping off the back just yet. As they come across the line, it is Suzuki and Zhang of Japan and China respectively who go across in the first 2 places.
The top bank, Zhang and Suzuki from China and Japan. It looks like Yassim Garbi has gone out off the back and out of the race. The second bank, North America, Aaron Pike of the United States, Alexandre Dupont of Canada. Garbi 4th in the 800 meters, won't be doing anything in the 15 as he goes straight off the track into the dressing rooms. Maybe there was a slight twinge. He was well in contention. They were all bunched together. At the back right now is Jake Lappin for Australia. Zhang right up at the front along with Suzuki at the moment. It's the bell next time around, and now, having taken a little bit of a breather in the back, Jake Lappin moves up right alongside the top 2 at the front, and at the bell it's Zhang, Suzuki and Lappin.
Yeah, Lappin's gone a couple of lanes wide at the moment. The man who picked up bronze in the Commonwealth Games just last year, well, he's looked like he was going to go around the outside, but all of a sudden he's now pinned back in 4th position and trying to get around and work his way towards the outside. The top 3
go
through. There's been a crash there. There's a few of them have gone down. I'm just trying to work out who it is, but that is quite a bad crash indeed. There's a couple down there in the background. We'll get back to that in just a moment or two's time. Aaron Pike of the USA looks like he's one of them. Well, that has opened things up remarkably, and there are 3 there. Well, the medical help is trying to get across there. We'll get back to that in just a moment. But going across the line in first place, it is Zhang of China, followed by Suzuki of Japan and Jake Lappin in 3rd place. But that was an awful crash on the far side. There were wheelchairs that went up in the air. There are people down on the ground at the moment, and not something you want to see. That's Alexander Dupont, is it? It's Kongarak of Thailand who's gone down over there. It's Kongarak of Thailand who's one of them down, and it is Aaron Pike who's also down. So the 2 of them, we'll get a replay of that in a moment, no doubt, and find out. But Zhang wins it in first place, Japan in 2nd with Suzuki, and it is also going through the Australian Jake Lappin, the bronze at the Commonwealth Games last year. But there is the scene in the background on the straight. You can see there, it is Kongarak of Thailand who is down on the right-hand side there. It is Alexandra Dupont. Well, that looks like a nasty, nasty crash indeed.
And the truth is, we may well be looking at a rerun of this. Normally in this situation, more often than not, it's what we get, but it depends on the condition of DuPont, of Congrak, of Pike. They all went down to the middle of that field.
Well, I'll take you back 4 years. You and I were there in Doha. The men's T54 5,000 metres final was run. And it went through, and all the athletes, there was a massive, massive crash. The athletes were back at their hotel, and they got brought back to the track to rerun it at around 11:30 in the evening. So there is precedent for these things happening. This not a final, this being a heat. But if there's a protest that goes in, or the officials think it's worthy of a rerun, then we will have that. Well, this is where they head around.
They're beginning to lift up.
There it is. It's Congrak. Congrak in the blue. He's tried to go out, and then you see
leaving the track.
He's been almost run over
after that crash.
So Congrak and DuPont
well done, the medics getting there quickly.
are the ones who go down.
And luck to the competitors involved in that crash.
Well, in these type of races, sometimes there is absolutely no room whatsoever, and you try and get out, and as you try and get out, if your peripheral vision is not working completely correctly and you're tired, you're exhausted, you try and get out and you clip wheels, and at that speed you are guaranteed to go head over wheels.
So that's Zhang, Suzuki, Pike, the 1, 2, 3 crossing over. This is where it happened, and he just flew up, didn't he, Pike? He was the first to go, then the Thai went, Congrak, and DuPont followed shortly after, and there's DuPont going, ow.
Well, Pike's the first one who tries to get out, and that's what starts the chain reaction.
I gotta say, Maldonado, who finished 4th in the end for Argentina, avoided that brilliantly on the inside. Malta went on the outside. Now, in the IAAF, you've got protests, and then an athlete who falls down will either be advanced to the final or not. But in this, because usually there's so many people involved, that normally means a rerun. The biggest one I've seen was in one of the women's finals, 1,500 or 5,000 in Lyon in 2013, and that was absolute carnage. We lost a lot of the field, and we've lost a third of the field here. I think it's going to happen again.
So Aaron Pike has been disqualified. Now, Pike was the one on the inside whose wheel first clipped across to one of the other athletes, and then that started the chain reaction. There's Pike on the inside there, goes down first. So Pike at this stage has been disqualified. He goes down, DuPont goes down, Congrak goes down, and there is absolute carnage in the background. And it makes it simple for those who went through, Zhang, Suzuki and Lappin. However, at this stage, we need to find out whether it's going to be a rerun or not.
So it's Rule 18-4, and it's the athlete coming from behind in an attempt to overtake, carrying the responsibility of ensuring full clearance of the chair being overtaken before cutting across. So they feel it's instruction he tried to overtake the wrong way.
Well, that was never going to happen, because as he pulled out, he went straight into the athlete's wheel who was next to him. It might have been Lappin, actually, I think, who he actually ran into, but he went straight into his wheel. He went straight over the top of his own wheel, and that caused all that chain reaction and carnage that you saw laid bare on the track behind. Dangerous stuff. And at this stage, Aaron Pike, the para-biathlon and para-skiing man, he picked up bronze this year in the World Championships, is disqualified.
And unfortunately, Aaron Pike, like Captain Pike, eventually coming to a sticky end. But we all love Captain Pike, and we all love Aaron Pike. Well, we'll see how that gets resolved, whether there's a rerun or not. But it's only 5 who finished that. Garby didn't finish either, but that was obviously a separate pullout.
Well, there was a bit of everything in that race, including a bit of controversy. 2 more heats to go in the men's 1,500 metres T54. We always talk about the T54, whether it be in the women's or the men's, as arguably one of the most exciting events on the track. And I think partially things like that, from a statistical point of view, are part of the reason why people actually like it, because those type of things can sometimes happen. So the heat is on in Dubai. literally, as we race towards 30 degrees, and it's also on the track as well. So heat number 2.
Drawn at 8.
We know which 3 have gone through at this stage from the opening heat. Now we go to heat number 2 with 3 more guaranteed to go through to the final. Rawat Tana, he was one of the men in that infamous incident back in Doha in the 5,000 metres in 2015. He ended up winning the race the first time. He ended up winning the race the second time as well. Thailand always very strong in these events. And unfortunately for them though, they lost one in Kongarak, who went down in that crash in the last one.
Drawn at 3, already the winner of the 800 metres here.
Daniel Romanchuk,
for the USA.
marathon world champion, 800 metres gold in a championship record on Saturday. He is taking part in this one as well.
Number 4 in the world for Thailand.
Rawat Tana took up the sport 20 years ago. 2015, he won this event. He won that 5,000, as I mentioned. He was 4th in this in 2017. And Richard Kiyosara on the inside. Prefers shorter distances, came 8th in this one back in 2017. Romanchuk and Rawat Tana will be the ones to really look out for. Josh Cassidy, Commonwealth Games bronze medalist back in 2010. 6th in the Commonwealth Games in Glasgow back in 2014. They get away with no issues whatsoever at the first time of asking. As they move around that back straight, all very bunched at the moment. Rawat Tana, he always times his ending to perfection, just sitting in the middle of the field at the moment. As they come round to finish the first 300 metres, they'll have 3 laps left to go as they go across the line. It's Daniel Romanchuk of the USA, who won 800 metres gold on Saturday in a championship record, who has the lead.
And Yang on the outside, Vichanok is tucked in behind them as well, and Josh Cassidy too. But what a victory for Daniel Romanchuk, the best of his life, considering that he'd had 5 first-round exits in Rio. At 21 years of age now, the marathon world champion from earlier this year in London as part of the London Marathon, because the marathons aren't part of the Track World Championships anymore, and obviously that magnificent 800-metre success in dethroning Marcel Hug. He's the defending champion in this as well. Yang, the 16-year-old as he still is, wearing 8 on the helmet. He's in white, turned 17 in a couple of weeks, going very well for China as well, and we've 2 laps to go. Romanchuk still in front.
Yeah, and in 3rd place at the moment it is Bianchuk, the para-biathlon and para-cross country skier, silver in the 2014 biathlon. He's got quite a CV indeed, and Rawat Tana just 3 from the back at the moment. This is what he does. He just hangs in the field. He's got a very, very fast finish, and he's in a perfect position at the moment, but doesn't want to go too wide as they go around. So Romanchuk in the lead with 200 metres remaining in this penultimate lap with that distinctive yellow helmet out in front. He leads at the present time. It is the man with number 7 on the helmet there, Bianchuk, who's moved up into 2nd position, and Yang has just dropped back slightly. First major championships for him, and China, as always there or thereabouts at the top of the middle section as we head in towards the last lap. And moving down the outside, it is Josh Cassidy of Canada up on Romanchuk's wheel.
Romanchuk checked that very well as Cassidy made his move on the outside. 4th in the 10,000 metres in Lyon in 2013. That's been his best on the track at this event. Romanchuk just was aware of him at the right time. Cassidy on the outside, Vichanok a little bit chapped maybe on the inside at the moment, and expect Rawat Tana to make a big move. And there is the big move on the outside from the 2015 double champion in the 1500 and the 5000. Romanchuk still holding on well. It's the top 3 who automatically go through, and now there's a bit of a divide. It's Romanchuk who moves up. Vichanok made a great break also for Russia, and Rawat Tana is there in 3rd as well. We'll have to wait and see, but they are the top 3 for now who automatically go through. It was well timed, it spread out. Romanchuk was never really in any doubt. Cassidy had made a big move, but Beechenok actually very smart in how he raced that, because the position he was in looked as if he could have been in a lot of trouble. 3:07, the winning time. And that all straightforward for the new 800 meters world champion. Higuchi was fourth in the end for Japan and will have to hang on, and Richard Chiazara for Great Britain was fifth. Alazani was in sixth. We didn't actually get to mention Chiazara a lot in that. And Cassidy, who made a big move in the bell, finished seventh for Canada. Yang, who was brave for a lot of that, was actually in eighth. So it's interesting how a lot of men who look to have timed their breaks very well just couldn't follow it up. And Beechenok, who's the one who you thought might have been in a lot of trouble in that, ended up finishing in second place to go through along with Tana and Romanchuk. Well, he fought away from the start, just as he did actually in that 800 meters final, and he stayed up there all the way. And Rawat Tana was the man who made the most decisive late break. That was really smart by Beechenok. He just stayed behind Romanchuk all the way to qualify, glided through. Higuchi shouldn't be in much problem, but we shall wait and see in terms of the summary. At the moment, Higuchi has got the fastest loser's time. One more heat to go.
Thinking about Romanchuk there is his confidence must be sky high. He's having one of those seasons, isn't he? The marathon, the 800 meters here in a championship record, and all the way through there, looking very, very solid and comfortable indeed in this 1500 meters T54 heat.
So Romanchuk, Beechenok and Tana all go through, and at the moment the fastest loser with one heat to go is Masayuki Higuchi. Those below him are out. But remember, heat one may be rerun.
Well, that's how it is at the moment. Zhang, Suzuki and Lappin are those who go through. There are two, one disqualification I should say, which is Aaron Pike, and three didn't finish, two in the crash, and Yassine Garbi, who went out after just 2 laps.
That's the result for now. If it changes, we'll let you know. But this is the event which just, I think, brings you more drama than anything else. It is a fabulous event. So, heat 3 is on the way of this men's 1500 meters. And the big names just keep on coming. The world record and championship record holders both go in this. The reigning European, world, Paralympic, Asian champions are all here. Asian Games and Paralympic champion Prawat Waharam of Thailand. Reigning European and world champion Marcel Hoog. The 5-time world champion Josh George of the United States. The 12 times world champion Brent Lakatos, who's the world record holder in this as well. The resumes are stellar. On the outside, at the start will be major championship debutant, but like a lot of his team, coached by Wang Peng. That's Ma Zhu, based in Bengbu. On his inside, the world bronze medalist from the last Worlds in London in the 1500 and the 5000, Alassane Balde. Inside him, the world champion in the 4x4 in London for Japan, Sho Watanabe. Inside him, 100 meters champion this week, silver in the 400, world record holder, 12-time world champion, Brent Lakatos. On his inside. Fourth in the 5,000 meters in the last Worlds in London for Kuwait, Faisal Al-Ragheki. On his inside for the United States, the 800 meters world champion from Lyon 6 years ago, Josh George. The silver bullet inside him, the 10-time world champion, reigning world and European champion, Marcel Hoog. And on his inside, the reigning Asian Games and Paralympic champion, 4 world golds, all coming in 2002, 6-time Paralympic champion, Prawat Waharam of Thailand. That's a stacked field. Brent Lakatos, who had such a great time in London with 4 golds, the 1, the 2, the 4 and the 8. 3 golds in Doha. Away we go. Waharam, Hug, George, Arajehi, Lakatos, Watanabe, Balde and Maju. And Hug out in the front. The world champion stretching the field out. Come and get me. Lakatos in a good position behind in the early stages. The silver in the 800 meters as he was dethroned by Daniel Romanchuk, but it's the world record holder, championship record holder. The front two at the moment, Lakatos and Hug. Lakatos, who's branched out, Berlin Marathon winner last year. Hug leading the way, having claimed the silver marathon in London this year. 3 to go.
It's one of those races, isn't it, that's just absolutely stacked, and you wonder whether it would have been good if a few of them had been moved across different heats. However, that's just the way it goes, and Marcel Hug is the man out front with Brent Lakatos, and also Balde of Germany has made a move up there, the man who finished 4th in the European Championships last year in his home country in Berlin. But Marcel Hug, as he does so well, he just controls a race out there with Brent Lakatos. I suspect those two will be 2 of the 3 that go through to the final as they move around in the same positions. They're all very much bunched in. Waharam of Thailand in there. He's been around for a long, long time. He's got experience. And there are so many in this field who would be worthy of going through to a final. Just to remind you, the first fastest of all the 3 heats will also go through as Hug, Lakatos, and then Balde go across the line in the first 3 places at present.
And right at the back, with 2 laps to go, the reigning Asian Games and Paralympic champion Prawat Waharam, but he won't worry about that. His movement will probably come at the bell. It is Marcel Hug, the reigning world champion, out in front. Brent Lakatos, the 12-time world champion, alongside him. Watanabe's up there, Balde is up there. It's really congesting, and now the big move's coming on the outside, and it is Prawat Waharam who makes the move with a lap and a half to go. The reigning Paralympic champion, the 6 times Paralympic champion. The only peculiar thing about his relationship with the World Championships is all of his titles came 17 years ago. The bell is on the way. Watanabe leads. It's Hug and it's Lakatos. They're the top 3. Balde 4th. We might lose some big names here.
Well, here goes Waharam. We may well indeed at the moment. Lakatos is struggling somewhat, but he's moved back around the outside again. It looked at one point there if he was in a bit of trouble. Marcel Hug sitting comfortably on Waharam's wheel, slipstreaming him in 2nd place. Lakatos is slightly out wider with Balde on the inside. Now Balde is going to have to try and get out here because Lakatos has got him blocked in. So it's going to be a race in 2 possibly between them as to who gets 3rd place. Waharam around the corner, around the final bend, into the last 100 metres. They're up to the 3-minute mark, and here comes Waharam in the lead with Marcel Hug, and Lakatos is back in 4th place because Alessandro Balde is going to take the 3rd in automatic qualification position, and Lakatos goes through in 4th. Well, Waharam in the last 800 metres took the lead, he held on to it. Marcel Hug goes across with Alessandro Balde in those automatic qualification positions, and Lakatos in 4th is going to miss out on going through. The man who holds the world record set 2 years ago in Knotville in Switzerland is out of the men's 1500 metres T54 in what is a huge shock. The 1, the 2, the 4 and the 800 world champion is not going to progress through to the final of the 1500 metres T54. He was 5th in the final back in 2017, but this time it is Prawat Waharam who's gone through in 1st place. Marcel Hug, the silver bullet, who's been around for years, was the champion in this back in 2017, who takes it in 2nd to go through. And Alessandro Balde, bronze in this in 2017. He's finished 3rd in this heat here to go through to the final, have an opportunity at bettering that bronze medal from London 2 years ago. But Brent Lakatos, after being in the top 3 for so long, until about 200 metres to go, has been squeezed out by the German. Waharam goes across in 1st place. 2nd place Marcel Hug, and you can see Balde there in 3rd, coming home ahead of the Canadian champion, Brent Lakatos, who misses out. And it's not very often that you say that Lakatos will not go through to a final. Well, there he is, disappointment etched on the face of Brent Lakatos.
Throwing circle is Zhang Jiayu, who has moved up into third place.
Not his favourite event, it has to be said. But, however, he has missed out, finishing in fourth. Waharam wins it, Hug in second, and Bolda of Germany are the three qualifiers to move through to the final of the men's 1500 metres T54. So what does that mean? Daniel Romanchuk goes through top of the pile there, 3:07.63. Full of confidence, the marathon world champion and 800 metres world champion as well. Suzuki down the bottom for Japan. Also Higuchi, so two from Japan going through. Jake Lapham from Australia also progresses through to the final.
Well, it is a competition with so many big names that invariably you are going to lose a few. The long jump T47. Now this is a huge competition. We have about 19 entrants in this, and it's going to go on for quite a while. So men to watch out for here: Toby Fawanimni, Wang Hao of China, the world record holder from 8 years ago and former world champion for France, Arno Asomani. We go deep into a second page. Georgi Nikoladze of Georgia. This is going to take quite a while to iron out, and Tanner Wright, who we've already seen here this week also. In fact, the introductions are going to last forever, never mind the competition.
Well, they're stretched out on the track. They're almost covering 30 or 40 metres of the track. There are so many of them.
In front of the main stand, it's the final of
the evening session may start by the time they finish the introductions.
Tomorrow night.
نعود لمسابقات الميدان الدور النهائي للوثبة الطويل رجال فئة تي 47.
Jumping up one, representing Turkey.
اللاعب الأول ممثل تركيا.
Kerim Elyaz.
Kerim Elyaz.
Season best of 5:76 for the Turkish athlete. 6:02 his lifetime best. Nemanja Matajevic of Serbia. Buba Ibrahim Buba of Cameroon.
Jumping up four, representing
22 years of age, the African Nikita Kudakov of Russia. 6:72, lifetime best set this year. There is Toby Fawahimni. He'll be there or thereabouts. 7:28 for the American. Daniel Perez Martinez of Spain. A packed field. Yuta Suzuki. Two Japanese going in this one. Suzuki perhaps the less favoured of the two. Anu Asamani. Well, there are so many in this event. Half the world is represented. 19 in total. Roderick Townsend Roberts.
Jumping at 10, ranked number 1 in the world for the People's Republic of China.
Wang Hao, China, 7:53 for him. Christos Koutilias of Greece. Tanner Wright, who Will pointed out before, we've already seen here in these championships, so he's well into the groove already in what is going to be a very hot morning. Vincent Kiprono Mutai of Kenya. Plenty of African representation as well. And the second of the Japanese athletes, Hajime Ishida. 7:15, his lifetime best. From Indonesia, Buddha Hartanto. Thailand, as we've seen in the T54 wheelchair races, do ever so well. This time they've got a chance to do well in the long jump. Surimagongo from Georgia. Georgi Nicoladze, appropriately named. And Perez Hernandez, second of the Spaniards to go. And last but not least, Anton Bozilov of Bulgaria. So they've been introduced. In a couple of minutes' time, we shall get this men's long jump T47 category underway. This for the athletes with an upper limb affected by a limb deficiency section. Now, if you want to know more about all the different classifications in parasport, Paralympics.org is the place to go. You'll have all the information across the seated, the track, the field categories, all wonderfully mapped out as we get this competition underway in a moment. But the women's 400 metres T37 final is next up on the track.
It is the only track final of the morning, but it's one that is really worth savouring. Lizelle Gauss, the former world record holder, the European champion Natalia Kobzar, the Asian Games champion Zhang Fenfen. We've got a lot of big names here, but not the defending champion Georgie Hermitage, out injured. If you've got up early to watch it, Georgie, come back soon. Be great to see you back on the track. Victoria Slanova of Russia, major championship debut. She is in lane 9. And precisely the same CV for Russia's Elena Tretiakova in lane 8. And a first major championship for Cheryl James of South Africa in lane 7 of the IS Ability Sports Club. In lane 6, the triathlon, world champion from 2016. Fourth in the long jump here, silver in the 2 and the 4 in the Europeans last year in Berlin, Manon Gineste for France. In lane 5 for Ukraine, the reigning European champion over 400 metres and the reigning world champion over 200 metres from London, Natalia Kobzar of Ukraine. In lane 4 for China, the reigning Asian Games 200 and 400 metres champion, bronze on the 400 2 years ago in London, Zhang Fenfen. In lane 3 for South Africa, the former world record holder, but surprisingly, 4th place in the World Championships 2013, the best of her career, Lizelle Gauss. And in lane 2 for Uzbekistan, the 4 times medalist at last year's Asian Games, silver in the long jump, bronze in the 3 sprints, Sabina Sukhanova, 6th in last night's long jump. From Nanoli in Uzbekistan, Georgie Hermitage not here. But 2020, Bydgoszcz the Europeans, Tokyo the Paralympic Games, the big targets now. She battled hard all year to be free of injury and to be fit. It didn't happen. She'll be back. Who's going to be the story of 2019? Sukhanova in 2, Gauss 3, Jiang 4, Kobzar 5, Gineste 6, James 7, Tretiakova 8, Slanova 9, and we're up and running. Good start by James in 7, great start by her. Kobzar the European champion in 5, Gineste in 6. A real live wire. Those 2 silver medals in the 2 and the 4 last year. And Zhang going brilliantly for China as well. Gold in the 4x1, 4th in the 4 in Rio in the last Paralympic Games. And she is gliding right now. And Kobzar for Ukraine in 5, the European champion. They'll straighten up shortly, but those 2 are well clear of the rest. The big battle now looks to be between those for 3rd place. As they straighten up, it's Zhang in 4. It's Kobzar in 5. Kobzar slightly in front is the European champion, about to become the world 400 metres champion, having done it in the 2 previously. Kobzar out in front for Ukraine. Zhang in 2nd place. Kobzar's going to hold on. 62.46. Kobzar wins it. Zhang in 2nd. And it's James with the bronze in a major championship debut for South Africa. There's the result. But Natalia Kobzar is now a two-time world champion. Zhang dominated the first 200. Had eaten up the stagger on Kobzar so well. Cows, the South African who has the experience, has the resume to suggest that she would have been the one from her country to get the bronze, but it didn't turn out that way. It was a brilliant start by James. More about her in a moment. What a start by Zhang, though. She's already passed Kobzar, past all of them inside. James, Jeunesse, Chetiakova, Slonova. But she just couldn't shake off the Ukrainian. Zhang still leading. And it was in the final 50 that Kobzar really came into her own. The European champion is now the world champion too over 400 meters. Zhang picks up the silver, the Asian Games champion. But Cheryl James, what a performance by her behind. Zhang with a new Asian record of 102.90 and Kobzar also with a lifetime best. But James just pipping fellow championship debutant Chetiakova on the line, and in fact Slonova was fifth as well. A remarkable result in the battle for bronze. Kobzar wins it, 102.44. Zhang the silver for China with the Asian record, and James, Cheryl James, welcome aboard, bronze for South Africa.
Well, back to the men's long jump T47. And the next man is about to head out. Toby Fawahimi from Houston, Texas. I was there a couple of weeks ago. What a place.
Joe Butterfield of Great Britain and Northern Ireland has gone into the lead in the up throw. She's still in the circle, completing her series.
Won triple jump gold just 2 years ago in London. He was bronze in this event. Lifetime best set this year of 7:28. Off he goes. Well, he's been given the white flag, so it's a definite mark. First up. Well, Fawahimi in Rio was in 5th position. He improved to bronze in the World Championships, and no doubt he's looking for further improvement here. There is the jump. Up on the board. Perfectly placed, actually. T47 upper limbs affected with a limb deficiency, which is fairly obvious. 688. He's into first position, into quite some headwind as well. Well, that is a wonderful jump into a very, very big headwind. There he goes to show you just there. More than -2, that headwind, as Perez Martinez of Spain will attempt to do something big himself as he gets the crowd going for his first attempt. He is nowhere near the mark of a lifetime best of Fawahimi. But sometimes, just sometimes at major championships, when the crowd get you going, you can come up with something special. 612, his lifetime best set earlier this year. Well, he hit the board hard. You heard the bang as he hit it. White flag given. I suggest he was pushing right up there. Well, there is the jump. You heard the board, and that is almost as close as you can get. Wonderful day, beautiful weather. Maybe not the best conditions you're running into, but he likes it. 6:03, he's currently in 4th position, negative 2.2. So they are running into a hefty headwind. As Yudo Suzuki, the first of the 2 Japanese athletes taking part, gets himself sorted out and ready to go. Arm goes up, preparations ready. Fans watching on from Japan. Off he goes, Yudo Suzuki, jump number 1. Red flag straight away, he's gone way over the board, the 21-year-old. Physical education student, his first up effort. After finishing 5th at the Asian Para Games last year, bringing that into this competition. And a lifetime best set this season of 6:65. It doesn't matter because he's first. He's gone way across the board. So an early issue with the run-up. Distance-wise, it was wonderful. He's pushing up towards 7 meters, but just look at that. 10 or 12 centimeters in it, and he may well have had a new lifetime best. And believe it or not, he actually had, I don't know how, but he had a tailwind. So we've gone from minus 2.2 on the last jump to plus 0.4 on that one, which shows you how much of a swirling wind there is around. As Roderick Townsend is next on the board. Roderick Townsend Roberts of the United States.
Let's go!
Gets the crowd going. Let's go indeed. His compatriot Daniel Romanchuk has been doing well on the track. What can he do here? The 27-year-old from Stockton, California. Well, that's out there. That is almost up, around the 740 mark by the looks of it in the naked eye. And that will be pushing his lifetime best, which is 7:41. Arno Asamani holds the world and championship record set in Christchurch in 2011. But this man who just jumped, he is the current Paralympic champion. He's also the reigning high jump champion in the World Championship. Well, there he goes. That is tight to the plasticine. He finished 4th in London 2 years ago, out of the records and the medals there. But I think he likes this one. He's up in the first place, a season best of 7:23, beating his previous season best by 3 centimeters into the gold medal position. Wang Hao of China. Well, Wang will be one of the favourites here. 7:53, his lifetime best. Wang just getting himself focused. Hey! 24 years of age from Chaoyang in China. Lives in Shenyang. Off he goes, and that is a red flag as well. So even though he's out over the 7 meter mark, doesn't quite matter.
Well, it looked like Agnali maybe got up for second, but the
Reigning champion has started with a foul.
Photo finish. In the javelin, that final throw by Zhao Yuping was a world record of 46 metres, adding more than a metre to the mark that was set way back or last
There it is
year
again,
in
very,
Jakarta.
very similar to Suzuki a moment or two ago from Japan. So that is a foul, confirmation of that. And believe it or not, all of a sudden he's gone back into a headwind. Keeps changing each time. The reigning champion though sits 7th because he's got absolutely no figure at all to speak of after his first jump. So the women's javelin throw F13 final.
Yes, this is least visual impairment of the 3 categories. And all the champions in this. Here is the reigning Paralympic champion from Rio, Nozimakon Kayamova from the capital Tashkent. Silver in the last Worlds. That's a solid throw, no doubt about it. 37-37 in the opening round for Kayamova. She currently has her in the bronze medal spot. But needs to go some in order to improve on a silver from the Olympic Stadium in London. Kayamova currently in the silver medal position, 38-86.
First world record in the field.
Anna Kulinic-Sorokina of Russia,
Bronze goes to Uzbekistan.
the 2013 world champion in Lyon and the 2016 European champion in Grosseto, back in international competition. Currently lying 3rd with that 37.85. Missing out by a metre at the moment. That's a decent one again. That's deep into the 30s, there's no doubt about that.
البرونزية تذهب للعبة الأوزبكستانية كايوموفا أما المركز الثاني والفضية.
Definitely well in the reckoning for the medals, there's no doubt about that. Natalia Eder of Austria is just a couple of centimetres behind Kulinic at the moment in 4th. And a good candidate maybe for a medal herself, as she normally does. Kayamova currently in silver with 38.86. Oh, a centimetre better! Up in a silver, Kulinic-Sorokina.
21.67, her best throw. Full scorecard.
Zhao Yuping of China. She is our leader. Series of championship records already. That 44.95, a new championship record. 1 centimetre off her world record. The defending world champion, the Asian Games champion. She's got the gold medal. There's one thing missing today. That's a belting throw. That's well beyond 40. That's into the mid-40s, no doubt about it. And Zhao Yuping, she's retained her world title. Has she broken her own world record? That looks to be the throw of the day. Any improvement on what she's done will be a world record. She put so much into it. Zhao Yuping, the world champion again.
Out of 2 in the T37 men's.
And the world record has gone again. 46 metres dead. Absolute dominance by Zhao Yuping. Zhao takes the gold for China and breaks her own world record. Anna Kulinic-Sorokina, the silver for Russia, and Nozimakon Kayamova, the bronze for Uzbekistan.
In lane 4 representing Egypt.
حارة 4 محمد مصطفى فتح الله من مصر.
Mustafa Fathala Mohammed.
So, China with 9 gold medals now, 25 in total. Ukraine with 6 golds, Brazil with 6 golds, Ukraine with 14 medals overall, Great Britain 4 golds. After yesterday's heroics, Australia, Finland 3 gold medals each. About 50 nations have won medals here so far.
Well, you saw that wind and those flags in the background there when the medals table was up. It's kicked right up. Townsend Roberts of the USA, 723. 4th in 2017. He leads this one. Fanahimi, his compatriot, is in 2nd position, and Serbia's Maticevic is currently in the bronze medal position. The 2017 champion Wang with a foul with his opening jump. So the second of the Japanese athletes, Ashida, with his opener in the men's long jump T47. ...25 years of age, lives in Sydney. Well, they're just checking because he's gone very, very close. He's been given the white flag though. Senior international debut back in 2013 for Ashida. He finished 5th in London in 2017. Bronze medal at the Asian Para Games last year. Just have a look at that and look how close that is. That is a wonderful shot. And he's done really, really well, because you cannot get any closer to that without actually marking the plasticine and being called for a foul.
11:44, just by one.
No way of getting any closer and staying legal. So his first jump puts him in 5th position, 6:57. Lifetime best of 7:15, so he's got some to go yet to get up to that. But after his first effort, he sits 5th and in contention for a medal. Well, Buddha Atanto, a red for him. The man from Indonesia shares my birthday, as a matter of fact, except he's born a little bit later in life than me, by 13 years. There you can see they're way over. A good 10 centimetres or so. So a bit of reworking for the run.
With her opening throw, she's got that one and 3 more to come. And that looks to be pretty close to her best mark as well. So she will be called.
So confirmation of that one for Buddha Atanto. Well, Sumangan Cole of Thailand with his jump, and that's over the 6 metre mark.
So her third throw was within
that,
7
again, is another foul. So the athletes are trying to readjust for the headwind. The issue is, though, they're readjusting too much. So his opener into that minus 2.7 headwind means it's a foul. Nikoladze, Georgie of Georgia. Now, Georgie Nikoladze has been waiting. ...34 years of age, from Tbilisi. 4th European Championships last year in Berlin, 12th in this event 2 years ago in London.
25-16, 23-37.
That was his senior international debut that year.
For the new world champion.
For the man who studied business at Ilya Chavchavadze, Tbilisi State University.
Scorecard on the scoreboard.
Just waiting for the board to be cleared, the pit to be leveled out, and the orange cone to be taken away, signaling that he'll be ready to jump.
اللعبة الأوكرانية تستعد للمحاولة الخامسة في رمي الصولجين سيدات فئة F51.
2002 in round 5 for off-seed. Final throw for the champion coming up.
So Georgi Nikoladze.
A throw of honor.
Makes us wait. He's waiting for that wind to die down. At the moment, I'd say good luck with that. That windsock is absolutely moving parallel to the ground as he moves off. And from the naked eye, it looked like the jump itself was okay as far as getting the white flag at the board, and that is quite right indeed. Nikoladze, though, throwing his arms out. 6'11" his season best, 6'17" his lifetime best. And unfortunately for him, it won't be up there. Look how far back from the board he's gone. So he's readjusted for that headwind. He's readjusted way, way too much. So athletes are either going too far or too little. David Iliarani, his coach, having a word with him. 5:26, given he's in 10th position. So onto the track, and the man you see on the right of screen there, Evan O'Hanlon, the man who was guest commentator with us in 2015 in Doha. Hashtag impossible. He retired after Rio, he retired after the Commonwealth Games last year. He now lives in the Czech Republic. 2008 and 2012 gold medalist. 2016 he won silver in Rio. He was the 2018 Commonwealth Games gold medalist. In the 100 metres, he won the 2011, 2013 and 2017 World Championship gold. 2015 he failed to compete due to injury. Dimitri Jozvicki of France, 7th in London 2 years ago. Jose Rodolfo Chesani Garcia of Mexico, 20-year-old, his first major championships. His brothers Andre and Eduardo also have represented Mexico. Sequali of South Africa, 7th, 2015, won silver and bronze in 400 at the last World Championships. And Albadedo of Spain will go from 8th, and Kaftaradze of Georgia will go from lane 9, the man who picked up a 4th position at the 2018 European Championships. Also won silver in the long jump in Berlin last year. So, Evan O'Hanlon, if you were paying close attention to our titles at the beginning of this program, you'd have seen him ripping off his vest, as he does. First two go through in this heat. The next two fastest over the 3 heats will advance to the final. Hanlon holds the championship record. That was set in Lyon back in 2013. And he gets away, no problems whatsoever. And also on the far outside lane, Captain is doing well as well. But on the inside of Evan O'Hanlon's shoulder, he's just pulling up ever so slightly. O'Hanlon will take second. Josvicki of France will go through in first place, winning that heat. It is the first two that go through, so no issues there for Evan O'Hanlon, hence him pulling up there before the line. 11:32 for Josvicki, the Frenchman. O'Hanlon in 11:38, just 6/100ths of a second behind. But as I said, the first two go through, so no need to exert yourself too much because they were well out in front. Union Sequali, 11:92 for him in third position, so he'll have to wait and see if that is good enough to be one of the two fastest qualifiers into the final. Well, O'Hanlon was the quickest to get out of the blocks there. Captarazzi started well on the outside as well, but it was Josvicki of France, the 22-year-old, who in the end pushed his way through. He can say he's beaten a Paralympic and world champion in Evan O'Hanlon, but you saw O'Hanlon just pulled up, preserving energy, knowing that he'll be able to use it for the final. Good sense of humour. Maybe not the greatest tash in the world, Evan O'Hanlon, but we'll forgive him for that one. So the sun beating down here in Dubai. We're heading up towards 30 degrees. And we'll give you confirmation now. Dimitri Josvicki of France with 11:32 qualifying. Evan O'Hanlon in second place, the reigning champion.
Just over halfway through. The leader for Iran is still...
Gorgeous conditions in Dubai today. It's well above 30 Celsius.
67. For Brazil in second, it is Machado.
The men's 100 meters T37, Apayo, Mohamed, Luis da Costa, Verdovin, Pranovo, Pelletieri and Okapinski in this. Verdovin, the 100 meters world champion. Away the first time of asking, a brilliant start, you have to say, by Pranovo of Indonesia. And also going well is Mohamed of Egypt. It's really tight, Pranovo's pushing it, Verdovin making it up. And Verdovin takes it. And that's 11:44. It's a new championship record. And not only that, it is 200ths outside Charles de Toy's world record set in Rio. Magnificent by Verdovin. He breaks his own championship record when he won this world title in Doha. He won the 1, the 2, and the 4 there. He's the 5-time European champion. Pranovo, magnificent for Indonesia. 11:46, a new Asian record. Matches the old championship record of Verdovin, but Verdovin smashed that himself, and not only that, 11:44 is the second fastest time in history. Verdovin, a new championship record, 11:44 in this T37. Pranovo in second, 11:46, an Asian record. Luis da Costa Mohamed also in the final. And Pelletieri didn't start in the end. So heat 2 of the men's 100 meters T38. The least impaired of the coordination impairment categories. But as we always say, on a day-to-day basis, quite affected in everyday life. So going in this, the European champion, Thomas Young of Great Britain.
The women's club throw F51 contains the world and championship record holder from Ukraine, Zoya Ovsi. There she is. Her first attempt in this category in the seated throws. All 6 goes are done at the same time. So this, her first attempt, set the world record in Berlin last year, and this is out there as well. The world record, 24:31, and this is pushing out there towards that mark. The championship record she set in London 2 years ago, that was 23:74. It may well have beaten both of them. It had height, it had distance. Does it have the required meterage? The first of 6 attempts, and this may be hard to beat in all of them. As we wait, Zoya Obsi of Ukraine.
And in lane 9 representing Turkey.
Well, there it is, 25:23 with her first attempt, a new world record, smashing her mark she set last year in Berlin by almost a metre. So she takes gold, Joanna Butterfield of Great Britain in silver, and in third place it is Russia's Elena Gorlova.
So heat 2 then of the men's 100 meters T38. European champion Thomas Young of Great Britain, the Asian Games champion Zhu Dening of China in this. Ruvan Wallace of South Africa, another new name for us, his major championship debut. Chakan of Thailand was 4th in the universal relay for them. So it's Wallace in 4. Major championship debut. Young, the European 100, 200 meters champion in 5. Zhu, Asian Games 1, 2 and long jump champion in 6. Sam Walker of Australia in 7, 6 in the 100 meters Commonwealth Games. Chakan in 8, Shaheen in 9. It's the top 2 to qualify for the final. Young going brilliantly for Great Britain, and Zhu alongside him. It's these 2 who will make it. Young, 11:11. Ahead of Zhu Dening, and they're the 2 who progress. Well, Thomas Young, born in Croydon, going through along with Zhu Dening from Fujian province. Very close together on the line, 11.20 for Zhu. And Young, 11.11. A fan of Fulham, just like our old T13 chum, Chad Paris. And that is a new European record as well for Thomas Young. Zhu going through along with him, not much doubt about that. They are their respective continental champions. He's based in Loughborough these days, as many great athletes are, with Charnwood AC, coached by Joe McDonnell. And Young got off to a great start, so did Zhu, so did Sam Walker. Shaheen trying to recover for Turkey, but then fell back a little bit, and that will happen in the coordination impairment. The body can start to shut down effectively, but Young and Zhu well in their rhythm. You can see a little bit of the restrictive arm movement, an impairment that's Young is having to run through every single race. He got in ahead of Zhu Dening, and Wallace recovered quite well into 3rd place. In fact, the top 4 all here running lifetime bests. Wallace 11.68, Walker 11.69, behind Young and Zhu. Watch this space for the 2 of them. Young's European record 11.12. He goes through along with Zhu Dening with a lifetime best 11.20. Wallace, Walker and Shaheen all with lifetime bests as well. And as Evan O'Hanlon described it when he was with us in Doha commentating in this event and his event, and all of the coordination impairments, the spasticity can kick in late on in the race.
As we head back to the pit. The men's long jump, T47. Daniel Perez Martinez, second attempt in 9th position, the Spaniard. Well, he hit the board very, very strongly. He's been given a white flag, so all legal.
Eighth place is at 6:06. So anybody wanting to get the final jumps has got to currently be above 6 meters.
Lovely shot that of the 24-year-old. Sports science student. Won silver in the T47 high jump at the 2014 European Championships, and that is an improvement. 6:16, a new lifetime best. Japan extremely well represented, and yet again here in this event. Yudai Suzuki with his second attempt. Failed to register with his first. As he gets himself ready on the runway. Started para-athletics 3 years ago at the Nippon Sports Science University in Tokyo. Second jump. This one looks like a clear one. It is, given the white flag. 6:65, his lifetime best set this year. Fifth in the Asian Para Games last year. This, though, a much, much bigger stage. Still looks like they're going into a headwind as well. .637, and believe it or not, he had slight tailwind behind him.
Assoumani then of France, who won this title previously. He passed up in the opening round unusually. Won the world title in Christchurch in 2011. Set the world record there of 7:58. What's he like these days? Oh, he's gone out around 6.5. It's a white flag, it's a fair jump. That'll put him up the standings a bit, maybe top 6, make him a contender. Assoumani certainly looks as if he's going to glide up the standings. Suzuki has just gone out to 6:37. Technique is still there after all these years. Paralympic champion in 08. World champion 06 and 2011. 6:38 goes into 7th spot.
38, je suis 7ème là. Ouais, mais là j'ai pas de vitesse en fait. 19 c'est trop long, je peux pas courir. J'arriverai plus vite parce qu'en fait, en poussée, ça me fait pas trop mal.
Using my rudimentary French, I'm 7th out of 19, don't panic.
Count Roberts of the USA has jumped 7:23 in round 1, and he is awaiting the cone to be removed for his second.
So the men's 100 metres T38, third heat, final heat. Dixon De Jesus, Hooker Velasquez, who took gold 100 metres, a gold in the 400 metres on Friday, only 9th in this one 2 years ago, so looking for redemption. Brazil's Calvajante Pinheiro, always in the medals, bronze in 2013, bronze in 2017. He picked up silver in 2015. There is Hooker Velasquez. China looking for more as well. Zhong Hongwao. All-rounder he is, silver in the long jump in Rio in 2016.
It is the women's 100 metres T11, round 1, 5 races.
So 11.92 to cut off in this one as well. The third of 3 heats going from the inside. Kulakon Puthaji of Thailand, the 18-year-old, his first major championships. No introduction needed for this man. Dixon Hooker Velasquez of Colombia. Already a gold medalist here. Cabasante Pinheiro of Brazil. Bronze 2013-17, silver 2015. And Mikita Senik of Ukraine. He took bronze way back in 2008 in Beijing. He's been 5th in 2013 and 27, missing out in 2015. Zhong, bronze in the Asian Para Games last year in this one. And back in action, Ketag Kinchikov, his second cousin's Albert, is an F37 shot put athlete. And Adi Gassini, 17 years of old, his first major championship. Now he's put back his final exams until next year to compete in these championships. Just yesterday, Isis Holt didn't run because she is taking her higher score certificate exams this year and has decided to skip these championships. But in lane 9, Gassini, 17 years of age, has opted to put them back to next year. Nothing like that's been seen before. Fair play to his teachers for giving him the chance, and to the Board of Education as well. Cabasante Pinheiro will fancy his chances of going through, as will that man there, Dixon Hooker Velasquez. First 2 to go through. Next 2 fastest advance to the final from the 3 heats. What a final it promises to be to Evan O'Hanlon, Thomas Young, and possibly the likes of Hooker Velasquez. They've been asked to stand up, so a slight bit of movement on the line. T38, of course, the coordination impairment category. This is the least impaired though, but there is always the chance that as the green card is given, so no issues, but there is the chance that a bit of movement is there in these type of events when they get to the starting blocks. Well, I'm actually salivating at the thought of the final in this event. Evan O'Hanlon and Thomas Young, they like a celebration. They like to really ham it up for the crowd. Even after heats, as we saw Thomas Young a moment ago, blowing kisses. Pointing the finger out. The new generation of athletes coming through, challenging the old guard. This man, loads of experience. Dixon Hooker Velasquez of Colombia.
Set.
Away they get, no problems at all. Velasquez in a bit of trouble though. He gets away very slowly indeed, because on the outside it's the Russian athlete in Kinchikov, but it is going to be on the inside Calvasante Pinedo in 11:23, who takes the win and goes through. Now Hugo Velasquez and Kinchikov, it was a real tussle between them as to who went through in second place. Calvasante Pinedo, though, has definitely gone through. Colombia have taken it. Hugo Velasquez has gone through and taken the second position. So he is an automatic qualifier. He got away slowly from that standing start. And it looks like Kinchikov on the outside has taken the third position. We just have to wait for timings. 11:45 for the Russian. Hugo Velasquez obviously likes the longer distances because he can get going in those, but he just got away to a slow start in this one, but he eventually got himself over the line and into a position of strength, which puts him directly into the final.
And I'm sure Nikita Senik,
Calvasante Pinedo always looked strong, always looked like he was going to be first across the line when he got himself going.
and two athletes.
So the three heats are completed. Calvasante Pinedo, 11:23. Hugo Velasquez, a lifetime best of 11:44. Also a lifetime best for Kinchikov, who qualifies, as does Zhong, despite taking fourth place. A quick heat, that one. So Thomas Young with a European record. There are three lifetime bests in there as well. Zhao, Hugo Velasquez and Kinchikov. As we head back to the men's long jump T47, Townsend Roberts leads the way ahead of Wang and another American, Fawahimi, 688 in third position.
We are deep into round two in this. Townsend Roberts with that 7:23, Wang 6:89, Fawahimi 6:88. Remember, 19 in this, taking a while to get through. But here's the man in sixth, Ejimo Ishida, with that 6:57 for Japan. He's 6 centimeters off his lifetime best set earlier this year.
You may call it in this evening, but you've only lost the night. Preset all your
So 6:57. Whoa, that's a red flag, which is good reason why he was heading out towards 7 meters. All things are explainable.
Current long jump standings on the board.
So he maintains his position, is at the moment comfortably in the top 8 by 20 centimeters, but that can change quite rapidly considering the big field we have, and he wasn't over by very much, just a toenail. Had, despite the windy conditions which can throw a lot of people off, not very many fouls, no jumps so far. Although this man has had one, so he's not on the board yet for Indonesia. Budi Hartanto. He's done it again, so he's in big jeopardy. 2 fouls for him. 4 athletes, he's one of them, yet to register a mark. Christos Koutoulias has passed his first 2 attempts, so there must be an injury issue and he won't continue, and Budi Hartanto has to pull off something big in round 3. The same thing's going to happen. The pressure's really on now.
The
and he was way, way over. He's trying to push the initiative, and it's causing him big difficulties. So the future of him in this competition is a bit tentative.
So Semenkal of Thailand. And he red flags as well. We're getting through them quickly, aren't we? Well, there were 19 in this. It might not take too long after all because there are so many fouls that we are whipping through it. They're not going over by much. So Semenkal. Red flag for him. There is that windsock just blowing in the wind. You can see how strong that wind is. Very, very strong wind indeed. Second foul for Semenkal. So he has no mark whatsoever and is in danger of crashing out without recording a mark if he doesn't get something in his third. So Georgi Nikoladze will be next up. Nikoladze gets himself ready. He's in 15th of 19, his second attempt, 5.26 with his opener, and he needs to come up with something here. He just throws his hands out there and waits for the wind. He's a bit concerned about it, but the issue is they're all going to be running into a wind as it is at the moment. Have a look at that. Straight into his face. It might look like a big issue, but it is. That's why he's waiting, but he's off. And he's going to push the limits, no doubt. Well, he's happy with that one because he's got the white flag. He's got himself a jump. Whereas others are fouling, he's getting the white flag and gaining marks. Maybe not as happy with it as he wants to be, but at the end of the day, the Georgian is recording marks. You saw his coach David Irani there up in the crowd giving him instructions. Off the board it was okay. Nice movement to the side. There is his coach.
Long jump standing.
David Irani. His personal and national coach. 5.64 into a headwind of negative 1.5. He moves up a spot to 14th. Perez Hernandez of Spain. Second attempt. Foul with his first. So he needs a mark. First three jumps count. Then after that we split. We go into the last three. Needs to get a mark to get anywhere near even going into it. So many fouls so far. As Perez Hernandez Well, that looked okay. But the red flag shows another front foot infringement. So he now has 2 fouls and is in danger of crashing out the 24-year-old. Runs out of Guadalajara in Spain. He's going back to have a look now, but well, it was close. We've seen others like that which have been given where it hasn't taken into the plasticine. But that time, he seems to have accepted it, and they've moved along.
Yeah, so 4 still without a mark. Burihatanto, Kutulis, Perez and Cyril Mongol, and they're all in big jeopardy in this. Tanzan Roberts leading 7:23, Wang in second 6:89, and Fawahinmi 6:88. Matsisevic just outside the medals by 3 centimeters, but there's a long, long, long way to go in this. And the women's 100 meters T11 can tell you Lu Kujing ran 12:07, a championship record, but wiped out by the wind speed. Perez Hernandez still wondering how to change things.
Here's the second heat in the women's 100 metres T11. What Will was just talking about there. Lu Kujing winning the opener. This is the complete visual impairment category.
2 out of 5 in the women's T11.
There are 4 to go in this heat, which has now been knocked down to just 3 because Burundi's Manakarisa will not start in this one. So lanes 3, 5 and 7 will be the only ones in operation. Salvatini Splurati, former silver and gold medal long jumper who failed to medal in that event here, will go from lane 3. Lorena Salvatini Spoladore of Brazil. 12:02, her lifetime best set this year. And then on her right, on our left, Japan's Chiaki Takada. Competed in the long jump event, failed to medal in that one. She was 5th in this in London 2 years ago. She'll go with her guide, Shikakazu Omori, and out in lane 7. It is Adelino of Angola, her first major championship. With Manakarisa of Burundi not starting from lane 1, is a non-starter, the lady from Burundi. So 3 in this. Just the first will go through. And then the next 7 fastest out of the 5 heats will move through to the final. And those semi-finals taking place in the evening session. They're the first events on the track in tonight's evening session. So the T11 needs complete silence before they get going. And they get going at the first time of asking, so no difficulties now. What happens here is the guide has to release the athlete across the line if it's to be legal, and at the moment it is going to be Salvatini Splodore who's going to go across in first place. On the outside in second, it is Adelino of Angola, and coming home in third, Takada of Japan. Easy enough work though from Salvatini Splodore. Never really headed at all. 12.10 is the time officially given to her as she takes first place Adelino in 12.81 comes home to take second, and she'll now have to wait to be one of those 7 losers to go through to the semi-finals.
And that's the second heat where the time has been inside the championship record but ruled out due to the wind speed behind them.
Exactly right, plus 2.4 is that wind speed at the moment. It is howling down that straight. So unfortunately for the athletes, even though they're running fast times, they don't count. Has to be no more than that +2 mark for it to be legal. And at the moment, it is really swirling around.
Step back from the edge of the roof. That was an unusual one, wasn't it? Just a very sharp rain shower there.
Well, something peculiar has happened in that there's been a massive amount of water has fallen from the roof, which is a canvas roof, and it's come down not on us but quite close to us. It's really peculiar.
I got the horses in the back, horse stock is attached, and it's mad at
Well, that's not what we were expecting on a day where the temperatures are in the mid-30s. So we are right in the middle of those heats of the women's 100 meters T11. Just to tell you about the times so far, Li Kujing of China winning the first heat in 12.07. Salvatini Spalladori taking heat 2 in 12.10.
Of Australia. At the end of this round, the leading 8 will go forward to rounds 4, 5 and 6. 11.16 is where the
And those are both inside the championship record of the old great Teresina Guillermina. Should I say the old championship record of the great Teresina Guillermina from 2011 in Christchurch, on her way to multiple titles, multiple golds, but those both negated by the wind speed. So this is heat 3 of the women's 100 meters T11. So it is Moko, Perez, Simplicio da Silva and Playa Faust who are the 4 in this. Half of this field in their first major championship. The other 2 not just past masters. So it's Moko in 1, Perez Lopez in 3, and they both making their championship debuts for this. But Simplicio da Silva in 5 and Playa Faust in 7 have not just won previous championship medals, but also championship medals here in Dubai at these World Championships. So this is Juliana Moko of Angola in her first major championship, coached by Jose Manuel 14:28, her lifetime best set this year. Alongside her, another major championship debutante in the form of Linda Perez. With her guide Javier Herrera, and the guide for Juliana Moko is Abel Santo, incidentally. Talia Simplicio of Brazil is in lane 5 alongside her guide Felipe Veloso, the 400 meters champion from this week. Bronze in Doha 4 years ago. And in lane 7 for Spain, Meritxell Playa, the bronze in the long jump here, and silver in the long jump in the Europeans in Berlin a year ago. 4th in the 100 meters in that, as she was in Grosseto 2 years ago.
First one will go through to the final.
So it's the top one into the final, plus the next 7 fastest losers who go into the semis. Moko, Perez Lopez, Simplicio de Silva and Playa Fas. So Angola, Venezuela, Brazil and Spain. Only the winner guaranteed a spot. So away at the first time of asking, and here goes Perez Lopez off to a great start. Simplicio de Silva right alongside, these two pushing up, and it's Simplicio de Silva, the new 400 meters world champion, who takes it. Perez Lopez in second place, Moko in third, and 12:25, the winning time unofficial. Well, she left that late, and she did quite a striking job of that. Well, the 100 meters is a medal. Still evades her. Well, having taken the 400 meters crown already this week, she is in great form. Silver in the 4x1 in Rio. The woman from Natal, right up in the northeast Atlantic coast. And that's a fine victory for her, 12:25. Perez Lopez in second place. And, well, it wasn't the greatest of starts by Talia Simplicio de Silva. Perez Lopez was looking really strong there for a lot. At 12:74, her lifetime best going into it. And Simplicio, well, that was a storming final 30 or so as she takes the win. 12:12, her lifetime best from this year. And the acceleration right at the end was tremendous. Perez Lopez coming through in second place. Now remember, it is 7 overall. Fastest losers out of the 5 heats to go through. So there may be still a chance Perez Lopez will go through. And indeed, Moko for Angola, who was in third, but Simplicio de Silva gets the victory. Simplicio de Silva wins at 12:25, and the rest, including Perez Lopez with that lifetime best, will have to wait, and Moko with a lifetime best as well.
So that heat number 3 of the women's 100 meters T11. 2 more to come. The next one, the reigning champion from London in the 1 and the 200, already won gold in the long jump here. Zhao Guohua of China.
So here is the Japanese. That is a major effort. Superb around the 7-meter mark by Suzuki. 6:65, his lifetime best. He's floating around 6th and 7th right now, Suzuki. Fine run-up. This is T47, below elbow or wrist amputee, and he used the board relatively well. Fine run-up, and the acceleration. Now, does it improve for him? It is! It's a lifetime best, 6:67, and he's in 6th place, and he's a contender again. So Asunani, the man who's the former Paralympic and world champion for France, they were glory days, and he still had a few since then. Silver in Rio in 2016, silver in London 2 years ago in the last World Championships. Musician goes under the name of Goliath. Can he be a Goliath again in the long jump? Asumani. He's got a good distance there as he tries to get up towards the medals again. As you saw earlier, he had a major consultation with his coach because he missed the first jump, he skipped it, and then waited in around 7th spot.
Thank you for all your efforts. That was my... Everybody, thank you very much.
Well, that was a good job by Asunani. 7th, 6:61. And look at that headwind he was jumping into that's nullified so much on the track because it's their tailwind. It's been an interesting 15 minutes up here. Thank you all the hard-working men and women behind the scenes. Townsend Roberts, our leader. Man who has excelled so far, but with 19 competitors, we're looking at something like 30 minutes minimum between attempts so far. Pole position right now, Townsend. Oi, not that way, he's not. Well, Roderick Townsend Roberts, the reigning Paralympic high jump and long jump champion. He finished 4th in London in the long jump, but you might remember that brilliant show he put on in winning gold in the high jump in the last World Championships, where he basically was the last man standing all night. It was the last event on the night in question. Good job, everyone. And he basically put on a magnificent show, and massive crowds, around 25,000 stayed to watch him and just him as he went to world record heights. And he's a big contender for a couple of medals here as well. He's world champion a couple of times in the high jump and silver in the long jump. His best world's result, but he is obviously the reigning Paralympic champion in this as we go to Wang. That's again looking around 7 meters. And Wang goes into the bronze medal position, 7 meters, 0.9. Wright for the United States. Tanner Wright, 6.64, his lifetime best. 6.54 has him down in 9th. It's a season's best for him. Tanner Wright has had a really busy week already here.
12.28 the winning time. Negligible wind speed at plus 0.5. Must have been quite a wind speed that knocked that water off the roof.
Hit the board perfectly. Launched his way out beyond 6.5. That may be an improvement of a few centimeters.
And that's a lifetime best for the Ukrainian
result here, just to bring us the news of the track in the fourth heat, the reigning champion in the women's T11 100 metres, Jagowa has won her heat, so she is through to the semi-final.
12.28 that winning time, and Wright 6.59. He is hanging on in 8th. He has no more influence on whether he makes it to the second half of the competition, though.
Yeah, I just want to make sure I hit the board on that one. Thank you very much. Brilliant. Thank you.
I could just tell you, by the way, that massive, it was like a whole loads of bats just pouring down in one area, and it was fortunately in an occupied commentary position that it hit. But it did knock out everybody's system for about 20 minutes, but we're back all online now. Thanks, everybody. Here's Mutai. That's a major attempt towards 7 meters, and he gets a white flag. Now, can he work his way up from 10th spot? A lot of hard work from him and from a lot of people here.
Women's javelin competition began 9:06 this morning. That's the F56 competition over nearly 200
Well,
meters
Mutai,
start.
6.65. He's up in his 7th position, running into a headwind of minus 2.3. Some effort. Some effort indeed. Why wouldn't he be giving handshakes and high fives? Ashida of Japan. 6.57, he's in 10th position. This needs something big for the man who resides in Sydney, 25 years of age, from Tamba in Japan. The pressure at this stage is on. 2 positions required. Bronze at the Asian Para Games last year. Needs to find some space and distance. Well, he's been given the white flag. But has he got the distance? Made his senior debut back in the World Championships in Lyon in 2013. He's medalled at the Paralympic Games in the relay.
Of Aishida's jump. We're very
He
close
came
to
3rd in the
end of
triple
round
jump
3.
in 2017. He came 5th in the long jump. But is he going to progress any further? Well, he's up into 8th. 6.63 with his 3rd jump puts him into the qualification positions.
We return to the women's 100 meters T11. This is the 5th and final heat. The Pan Am champion goes in this. And this is she. Jerusa Geber dos Santos with her guide Gabriel dos Santos, claiming gold in the 1 and 2 in the Pan Am Games. Ayola Deadeye we know very well, a noted long jumper also. The former, now world champion. So Jerusa Geber dos Santos, silver in the 1 and 2 in London 2012, but semi-finalist in her home games in Rio. Pan Am 100 and 200 champion in Lima. Gabriel dos Santos is her guide for this. Fastest in the field, lifetime best set this year, 11:85, despite her previous successes, including a gold in Christchurch in 2011 in the 4x1.
In lane 3, ranked #1 in the world and the world record holder representing Brazil.
That the world record set in Sao Paulo at the end of September. In lane 5, 6th in the long jump here this week, so she lost her world title. For Italy, Ayola Deadeye.
And in lane 7 for
For Cameroon in lane 7. First major championship, but she has succeeded on this track before, with a gold and silver in the Dubai Grand Prix, the Fasa Grand Prix, back in 2016 for Judith Lebon. The world record holder in lane 3, the Pan Am champion, the woman they all have to beat. That's set in Sao Paulo back in September, and the big sprint double in the Pan Ams in Lima. Deadeye as a prospect, 4th in the 100 meters in 2016, and 2 years earlier in Swansea she won the bronze. Albanian born, you'll remember, but in the colours of Italia for many, many years. It's a birthday in a few weeks' time as well. Something extra to celebrate, she'll hope. So Jerusa Geber dos Santos in 3, Ayola Deadeye in 5. Her guide is Andrea Rigabello, and in 7, Judith Lebon of Cameroon with a guide Cyril Lambano Bonilla. Away at the first time of asking. What a great start by Geber dos Santos in lane 3, the Pan Am champion, the world record holder. She's the woman to beat. It's not going to happen today, though, for the rest of them. Geber dos Santos comes through, 12:75. Deadeye in 2nd place, Lebon in 3rd. And Geber dos Santos didn't need to go full tilt at all. That was more 75% tilt. 12:75, almost a second behind that world record that she set just 5 weeks ago, and it's been rounded down to 12:74. Nothing more to say. Job well done. Deadeye put in as good a display as she could have wished for. And actually, down to the pure mathematics of it all and how the other heats have gone, they're all through. They've all qualified. Dos Santos coming through in 12:74. Good start by her. Spoke too soon about Lebon. She had a small queue alongside her. They've taken it away and put a big queue there. In red, along with a D. She's been disqualified, the 3rd placer. But Dos Santos, very little problem for her, really, and she eased up, probably with 30 to go once the race was won. And the race very much run by then as well. Deadeye in 2nd place, going through in 13:31 as one of the fastest losers. Geber dos Santos will be the hottest of favourites in the final. So Geber dos Santos through 12:74, Deadeye through 13:31, and Judith Lebon has been disqualified.
And you can see on
Tell
the
you why
scoreboard,
shortly.
although she was given
Lu
the time,
Kujing, the fastest, 12:06.
Cameroon athletes,
Regina Dumbo of Angola, likewise. Those 2 times inside the championship record, but the wind speed cancelling that out. Those are the 12 into the semi-finals.
يتواصل السباق في دفع الجلة رجال فئة تي 38 يتأهب
So the men's shot put F38.
للمحاولة الرابعة.
We join Cameron Crombie, who we saw walking around there in the background, who's the world record and championship record holder. But this is his compatriot,
you can see the field car for the
Marty Jackson.
F56, which has been
Lifetime best set this year of 14:38. Crombie's world and championship record is 15:95.
She will be the final athlete to throw, just preparing in the circle.
9 competing in this.
تتأهب اللاعبة
The coordination impairment category, least of the coordination impairments.
في سباق رمي الرمح سيدات فئة F56 وهذه المسابقة هي جلوس
15:14, a new lifetime best that puts him into the bronze medal position after throw number 4.
But obviously, on a day-to-day basis, the impairments are obviously quite challenging. But just from a sporting basis in terms of the classification.
Karatanides of Greece currently in 4th after Marty Jackson surpassed in them with his last throw. Oh, big.
That's the 4th throw of
Well, that's out there around the 14-metre mark.
live pictures on the giant screen. The next 3 throws will be from the current medal positions. 3, 2 and 1, Australia, Ukraine, Australia. Marty Jackson, Alexander Doroshenko, Cameron Crombie.
Foul given though, so he remains in 4th position.
في سباق دفع الجلة رجال فئة F38.
And Marty Jackson's throw was earlier in the round to improve it to 15-14. So this is Doroshenko.
So Alexander Doroshenko of the Ukraine. If you look at lifetime best through this field, he's the only one who can go anywhere near Cameron Crombie. 15:15, Doroshenko. And that is rather decent indeed. That is a big one. Alexander Doroshenko. That is pushing out there towards 15.
Back to the track for a new event. It's the rounds of the women's T47 100 metres.
Well, a season best of 15:14 with his second. He doesn't improve it there with throw number 4, so he remains as is. But here comes the man who 2 years ago set the world record, which obviously is the championship record as well. Cameron Crombie in first position, 15:73, a season best.
In lane 4, ranked number 5 in the world for China. Li Lu. In lane
as he gets himself
number 9 in the world for Thailand.
into position.
And you're aboard.
At the moment, he's 22 centimetres off his world record.
6 for France.
Well, he gives it plenty. And it's certainly not far away. He's been given the white flag.
Rodriguez Chiara.
That is a huge effort from Cameron Crombie.
Sri Lanka.
Throwing into a slight breeze as well. Every little bit counts.
Representing Indonesia. Nandamay Shalaya.
15.36. So after the opener and 2 fouls, he remains in first position but doesn't improve.
4-letter name in lane 2 and a 28-letter name in lane number 8. Just saying.
As Crombie just asks a question or two of the officials. Ahmed Mashaima of Bahrain. Well, there looks like a bit of a conversation going on over the chalk that's being used between Crombie and the officials.
And I think the second place athlete who got up there was Angelina Lanza of France, behind Lilu of China. 12.55 the winning time.
We'll be underway in a moment or two's time.
Speed above the legal allowable limit at plus 2.7 meters per second.
With Mashaima. Can tell you just quickly that in the first of the women's 100 metres T47 on the track, it's been won by Li Lu in a time of 12.14, and in second place, going through as well to the final, Angelina Lanza of France in 12.60. In 8th position, 11.52. His best is 1 metre exactly further than that. Ahmed Mashaima. That looks like it might be slightly better.
Final throw in that
Might improve his mood.
That began at 9.06 this morning. Over by the 200-metre start. Koulibaly of Mali, best so far of 13.33.
Well, it should do 11.72. It improves his best so far today by 20 centimetres. He's in 7th position.
Page 1 confirms that bronze goes to Brazil and Raisa Machado.
Peter Fratel
Silver
of the Czech Republic up next.
Republic of Iran. Matama Moavi, and gold goes to Latvia and Diana Datsiti. Congratulations.
As the wind starts to pick up again. So Fratel will get himself sorted out. Taking a little bit of time for the athletes, the 36-year-old. Been around since Sydney, back at the Paralympic Games in 2000. Last time he competed in this was in Doha, down the road 4 years ago. He came 4th that time. Last time he medalled in this was back at the European Championships in 2016, when he picked up bronze. now ready to go.
Shot put standings and live pictures of the shot put.
The 2014 Para Athlete of the Year in the Czech Republic. That's out there over the 12-meter mark, or around it. A little deceptive from the angle wearer. Good speed and power. .12 exactly is his lifetime best, and he's absolutely smashed it. 12.40. He's improved his lifetime best by 40 centimeters.
Dimitrios Silovs of Latvia. Diana Dadzita, her international colleague, is competing right now, and she's a regular championship winner. Silovs a regular championship medalist himself, particularly obviously in the Europeans. But they're very strong in the throwing events, as they are in the IAAF circuit too. Currently lying in 7th with that lifetime best of 12.38. Rattle has dislodged him in 6th place with that lifetime best of 12.40 a few moments ago. And that's not going to do much use to him, and he's walked out and it's a red flag. And of course Aya's happiness has already got a gold here, as he tends to do. The reigning world javelin champion is Silovs. He stays in 7th place. The reigning European javelin champion as well, twice over. Next to throw for Tunisia will be Hamdi Wafeli.
In lane 4, ranked number 2 in
13.61 is best so far in round 3. 14.30 is lifetime best from earlier this year.
5, representing New Zealand. Anna Grimaldi. In lane 6, representing Turkey. Dilba Tankrikulu.
Hamdi Wafeli
equal third in the world this year for Poland.
making his way slowly towards the circle. Again, a nation that excels. In the throwing events in World Para Athletics. Now that's a solid one. That's well over 12 meters. He is about 1.5 meters off the medals right now. 2 Australians in there, Cameron Crombie and Marty Jackson. Gold and bronze, respectively, divided by the Ukrainian Alexander Doroshenko.
Here we go.
And Wafeli, 12.98. Is not an improvement. But Marty Jackson now, what a prospect here for him to do something major. A lifetime best already today. For Australia, here he comes. 15.14 in the previous round. He's level with Doroshenko. 15.73 for Cameron Crombie is the gold medal mark right now. Marty Jackson. It's a belter. The man based in Geelong has been in this game for 5 years. John Eden is coach, 4th in the shot in London.
We will await the photo finish on that one. Into a slight headwind for the first time today.
His only previous major championship. Not sure that's heading out towards the 15-meter mark. There's no 14-meter marker over there. That's still a solid effort. It won't guide him any further up. Even 15.01 would have put him second on Kanbak, as he's level with the second place of Doroshenko. 14.58, he stays third.
Just to give you some news of the track there, the second of the three heats in the women's 100 metres T47. Brittany Mason of the USA winning it in a time of 12.01, which is a new championship record.
15 for Doroshenko. Crombie still leads going into the
standings with just this throw to come to complete round 5 out of 6.
So here is Cameron Crombie.
But Mason in lane 7. But Mason for record. Verandrade in second for Venezuela. And Lissy Yerman of Poland in third.
Heading off in lane 6. Qualify through to the final from these. A wonderful time. That is a new championship record. Get away. She may well be winning gold again, which was set, but the scenes of celebration when she realises that she's broken a world record and the championship record.
No deja vu, it is her first world record. So the men is
head to the Russia Under 23 World Championships in Prague.
It's a European record with his.
So that means there's only 11 centimetres between the top three now and that Wang Hao, the defending world, the long jump champion in 24 last year. Silver in the long jump behind Roderick.
American 1-2 at the moment. Paralympic long and high jump champion. Was only fourth in this event of the World Championships in London, where he won the high jump. So he's looking to gain back. Another title. Well, he gets a white flag.
Yeah. No, you don't.
7:23, his best. 2 jumps each remaining for these 8
Just
finalists.
almost pulled up slightly before the board there with his last stride. He almost
2 for Japan.
had to
2
do a
for
bit of
USA,
a skip.
1 for Kenya, 1 for Serbia.
Had a
1
few
for
centimetres
Russia,
left to get to the edge of the board.
And it's a USA 1-2 at the moment. Great imagery
Good flight
on
through
the
the
giant
air
screen of that landing.
for Townsend Roberts. 7 metres exactly, so it doesn't improve, but he does stay in first position. He's 6 centimetres clear of Fabuini. So it's Yoshida with his 5th attempt. Best so far of 6.63. Not great through the air. White flag. It will be marked.
Vincent Mutai of Kenya will be the next to jump once the sandpit is ready. He's in
Good style by Yoshida.
7th place with a best of 6.65. There's only 11 centimeters.
Not the distance he was looking for. 6.58. He stays in 8th position.
My position is back. Posture. Yeah, not dancing. Yeah.
Where can I improve, he's asking. So Mutai of Kenya, his 5th attempt, in 7th position. 6:65, his best so far. That was his third jump. Not sure this one is going to be any further than that. Looked like it was less than the 650 metre mark. .611 for Mutai, so no improvement for him, running into a strong headwind of -2.1. So Suzuki of Japan with his penultimate attempt.
He's in 6th place.
استعداد اللاعب الياباني سوزوكي المحاولة الخامسة وهو حاليا ترتيبه السادس.
Fifth at the Asian Para Games last year, but this a whole new ball game at this level. But he's in 6th position and he has time to improve. But he won't be improving this time. Long on the board. Red flag given straight away. No problem with the style running up, but just goes over the plasticine. Confirmation of it. So he stays in 6th place. Fifth attempt next for the man in 5th position, the Serbian Nemanja Majdovic. 21-year-old student. Well, that looked fine. Given the white flag. Lifetime best of 6:42. Coming into this, his lifetime best now after his first jump was 6:85. He's not far off that mark now, I can tell you. He's in 5th position. Well, he's improved his lifetime best by 3 centimetres, up to 6:88. Well done, young man. Well done indeed. Nikita Kotikov, he's in the bronze medal position. This, his 5th jump of 6. Well, he lost his run-up completely then. Well and truly lost his run-up in the last 5 metres and overstepped the mark. Red flag straight away, so no improvement there for the Russian. There you go.
Wang Hao of China is now in 4th place, 7:09, his best from round 3, next to jump.
So, confirmation of that foul for Kotikov, and up next, it'll be the man who's the reigning champion, Wang Hao of China.
He's had a magnificent time continentally. 4 golds in Jakarta last year and 4 golds in Incheon in 2014. silver in the Paralympic Games behind Roderick Townsend Roberts. That's well hung in the air. It's at around 7 meters again, and he gets the white flag, does Wang Hao. He's only had one effort over 7 meters so far. 7:09, but that's enough to have him in 4th place. 7:58, the championship record, which is also the world record when Asumani won in 2011 in Christchurch. He finished 9th. We see no more of him. Used the board perfectly there, did Wang. Sort of form which saw him won the world title 2 years ago. 7:09, his best in round 3. And Wang loved it. He loved it. Another couple of centimeters, he's back in the medals. And it's 7:09 again. And he stays in 4th place. So now, next to jump is Toby Fawahinmi from Arlington in Texas, where the Dallas Cowboys play. 7:17. His best so far, and if he gets a bit further, he's only 6 centimeters off his teammate Townsend Roberts.
Fawahinmi is just 6 centimeters behind the lead. His teammate Townsend Roberts will be next to jump.
It's the reigning triple jump world champion in 2nd, the reigning long jump Paralympic champion in top spot, knocked around 7 meters again. Good consistency with his past few jumps, 7:17 and 7:13. Only a centimeter clear of Kodakov now with the Russian's lifetime best. Visually, it didn't seem to be up around the same mark. Well planted by Fawahinmi.
So he'll remain.
Let's us see. 7:23 was his target. That was 6 meters 80. But look at that headwind, minus 3.7. And of course their headwind is the track athlete's tailwind as they're going in opposite directions. And that's what's ruled out a few championship records today. But wow, Deja Young's world record is something we'll be talking about for a while. There'll be a conversation over dinner tonight, no doubt.
Let's go!
Roderick Townsend Roberts, our leader for the United States. .723 in the opening round, looking for something blinding again. That's an excellent jump, and it's a fair jump. It's a white flag. Twice the world high jump champion. He's never won a world long jump title, but he did claim it in Rio. That's over 7 meters. Is it over 7:23 to increase the lead? He could not have hit the board any better. Figuratively anyway.
Loving those super slow.
That was a marvelous, marvelous attempt by Townsend Roberts. 7:23 in the opening round, having him out in front. 7:27, and he's increased his lead to 10 centimeters. Townsend Roberts in pole position for gold. The final round about to begin with Ishida. .663 currently. Yeah! Even 5 extra centimeters as he heads out towards 7 meters, and he'd rise 3 places. Gets the white flag, it's a fair jump. Launched himself out brilliantly. And just when we were all back in the hotel last night, by the way, one of the sports channels here, was running a very long profile on Marika Vervoort.
And he's moved himself
the 100
up
meters
into 6th place
champion in London 2012 and 3 times world champion who passed away last month, the beast from Deest. 685, he's gone up to 6th. So close to Matiasevich in 5th with 688. So RIP Marika, a Belgian sporting great. We'll remember you for a long time. Vincent Mutai of Kenya, 665 in round 3. Oi, 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 he didn't break the plane, so he's okay. Just 30 seconds to go. Mutai managed to stop himself all right, which is probably easier to do if you've 2 full arms. This obviously the below elbow or wrist amputee category, the T47. So, second time to charm. Went out around 6.5. You had that remarkable incident last night, by the way, which had a lot of a scrabbling for the rulebook. So one of the Italian competitors, having landed, got up and then walked backwards, which I think quite a few of us have been watching athletics for a long time. Frankly, I've never seen before. It's a foul. Well, it's one of those things where you think, well, what does happen? And obviously, the athlete in question didn't know, nor did his coaches. Got to get out forward and then leave. You can walk back in once you've left. You can do a dance over the pit for all they care. You've got to leave forward. Anyway, Mutai, 618. That's not his best of the day. The 665 is, and he will finish in 8th. Yudai Suzuki of Japan, 667 the PB, coming in the 3rd round. Well, Suzuki has done the jump of his life already, asking much to add another 22 centimeters to it to go 5th, but hey, why not have a go at it? He did. Heading out towards 7 meters, and he must have been feeling good in the air because there's a little bit of desolation after he lands. He gets the white flag.
For years I've been saying they don't get the white flag until they've left the sand, in case they walk back through the sand on their way out.
Our stadium announcer is mentioning just what I've been saying a few minutes earlier. The white flag being deliberately delayed as well now. The officials have had a pep talk about it. And I wouldn't be surprised that all the athletes haven't been briefed about it. Even if it's something you learn as a 10-year-old, a lot obviously forget.
5 jumps left.
So Suzuki with that 667 in round 3. He's come close to it. 655, 7th spot. It's funny, I remember one of my, actually, well, skip that. It's a long anecdote, and it's boring. Nemanja Matasajevic of Serbia, 688, the lifetime best, set in round 5. Aim towards 7 meters. Well, Matasajevic, the European silver medalist in Berlin last year, a Belgrade man. Pushed himself out to 7 meters. Didn't use a huge amount of the board. We walk the line and try to sing, falling behind what could be. Oh, bring me a higher love.
678, 5th place.
Matisajevic once beat his lifetime best, 6:78, and he finishes in 5th spot. We breach 7 meters from here on in. The gold medal's going to either the United States, Russia, or China.
So Kodakov with his final attempt. 7.12 his best so far, so he needs to get 7.18. He's currently jumped a lifetime best already, so he's going to have to beat that again.
Kodakov's only 5 centimeters.
He's lost a bit of ground there, though.
It's around 25 centimeters or thereabouts, the board being 20.
$6.97, no improvement.
Nice landing, but it ain't going to be any better. However, $6.97, so he does break his lifetime best, though, picks up a bronze medal.
That's 7.12, 40 centimeters in excess of his lifetime best coming into this competition. So, the world champion from 2 years ago in the Olympic Stadium in London, in front of that crowd of 40,000. Wang Hao of China, 7.09. He's in 4th place. Can he do it again? Here he comes. He's put a lot into it. He's looking back and he's not sure, and if he's not sure, gets the white flag.
Well over to the left-hand side of that pit. He's having a look at himself.
So Wang,
the calibration, looks around at the coach.
His last 3 attempts, 7.09, 6.99, 7.09. He's in 4th right now. 7.12 means bronze, 7.17 silver, 7.27 gold. Use the board perfectly. Oh, he loves it, he loves it, he loves it! He is our new leader! 7.29, Wang might have just retained his title. Sensational! And he was so uncertain. He is now 100% proof, our leader. China in front, out of nowhere, from 4th to 1st, with one magnificent leap of 7.29. He came within 5 centimeters of the world record earlier this year with a 7.53.
7.27 is silver, 7.29 is gold.
Toby Fawahinmi, former American footballer, trying to get into the end zone, but it's a red flag. It's bronze for the United States for Toby Fawahinmi, as it was in the long jump in London. Silver in Lyon for him. He's never medaled in the Paralympic Games, but he can change that in Tokyo.
Let's go, Rod.
He gave that a lot. 1 jump left. 1 jumper left. Roderick Townsend Roberts, the Paralympic champion. 7.27 he led with. He's led since round 1, the 7.23. This is it. 7.29 from Wang, the target. For victory. He's gone out beyond 7. It's a white flag. He's satisfied. But is it a gold medal jump? Glory for him in Rio.
Great contest, a long contest. Well done.
It's been a lot of fun, this. It's been a real marathon.
It's now 12:36.
Actually more a 50k walking event. He didn't use the board at all. He gave 25, 26 centimeters away. Now that's worth marking. Townsend Roberts, 2 centimeters off the gold, and will it stay that way? Big moment for the Paralympic champion. Either the Paralympic champion or the 2017 world champion will be crowned the kingpin here.
Yeah.
And he can't be sure.
All right, man. It ain't nothing big, so let's go home with this. Going long jump with this, high jump with this low L.
Oh, he hasn't done it. 7:07. Townsend Roberts is the World Championship silver medalist. And the title is retained by Wang Hao of China, world champion for the 2nd time. And it was only by 2 centimeters, thanks to his final leap of the competition. Townsend Roberts could have still overtaken him. The 2-time world high jump champion, the Paralympic high jump and long jump champion, gets the silver here, but Wang, at no stage in this competition had he led a no jump in the first round. Townsend Roberts went out to 7:23 and led throughout, right until the 4th last jump of this event. Wang went out to 7:29 into that familiar Dubai headwind, and he retains his world title.
Volunteers, officials, LOC.
Wang wins it for China, 7:29. Townsend Roberts, the silver for the United States, 7:27. And Toby Fawahinmi for the United States, the bronze, 7:17. Kotakov and Metisajevic were lifetime best in 4th and 5th. Lifetime best as well for Daniel Perez of Spain in 13th. No mark for Christos Koutoulias, who actually passed the baller's jump, so there must have been an injury issue. World record in the women's club throw F51 you saw earlier. Zoe Ovsi with it for Ukraine, 25-23. Joe Butterfield of Great Britain with the silver. Elena Golova of Russia, the bronze. Diana Dadzite's done it again. The multi-champion from Latvia takes it. 25-54, the women's javelin F56, with Motagan Moabi of Iran the silver.
Men's shot put, title retained, season best by Cameron Crombie. Doroshenko with a European record, and Marty Jackson making it an Aussie gold and bronze.
That was China's 11th gold medal of these championships. 27 medals in all. Ukraine through Zoya Ovsi in the club throw, their 7th gold here. Brazil of 6, Great Britain 4 after their heroics yesterday. Australia with their 4 through Cameron Crombie. Finland with the 3. Latvia now with 2 thanks to Diana Dadzite, along with her colleague Igaz Apinas. Poland with 9 medals, Russia with 15 now. Greece have taken the full set of medals so far. Japan, Morocco, Netherlands, 1 each. A couple of shock medals there too for them. South Africa with 5. Thailand, Colombia, Hungary, a gold each. Cuba, Czech Republic, Namibia, Jordan and Kuwait, who didn't have far to travel. Mexico with 5 medals to date. Host nation, the United Arab Emirates of 2. Peter Kennan with that silver for Belgium. Daniel Wagner getting the silver for Denmark. Argentina, through the great Martinez in the 100, got the bronze for them. Azerbaijan of a bronze.
So Wang pushes China up even further at the top after he retains his gold medal in the T47 long jump. They are out in front by quite some distance. It's been a session where 6 gold medals have been given out, 5 in the field, 1 on the track. There are 14 in the evening. Join us from 13:55 GMT. That's 5 to 6 local time. From me, Tolson Tollett and Will Downing. Until then, it is goodbye for now.